Some of your destinations have errors. Now, why would you wait until I hit the go live button to do that? That's not necessary. Excuse me for that. All right, it's 8:01. I said we would get started at 8:05. So if you are just tuning in, welcome to Free Thinkers. It is Tuesday night. We've been doing this every Tuesday night for Free Thinkers has been 4.5 years now. And previously, we did another group for many years, Q, many more than me. COVID happened, so we decided to eventually take it to a live format, which we'd always talked about doing and not doing. And anyways, so every Tuesday night we do this. We jump on here. Sometimes we have pre-planned topics. Sometimes we just pull topics from posts in our Facebook group. But we talk about it. We talk about stuff every Tuesday. Got a couple guests here. Let me see who is trying to get in. And lo and behold, it is Q. Hey.
What's up?
Just doing a little intro, just kind of what we are and, how long we've been doing this.
How long we been doing this?
Free Thinkers now, 4.5 years.
Really?
Yes.
Ain't that something?
And the reason I say that is because that's when we started the Facebook page. And that was really kind of when we came back from that fall little holiday break and my dad and just not available. And then it was boom, COVID. So we were like, okay, we're going to have to go online then with this thing. Because too many of us were not able or willing to meet in the coffee shop anymore, or at least at that time. So that's, I think, for most people when it really picked up. So 4.5 years.
Really? That's interesting.
I know.
I don't keep track of time like that, so it's interesting when you say something like that.
I'm usually not the greatest at keeping track of time, honestly. My time frame is really crappy, honestly, unless I reference shit around when my kids were born and how old I was at that time. But I remember because I'm always messing with the Facebook page and stuff like that. So it's always something that I keep seeing. So I know, it's been 4.5 years. And I'm like, so when we were talking earlier today about being totally out of ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
Don't tell people we out of ideas.
I mean, it's not that, but we
are out of ideas.
We appreciate other people's suggestion for ideas because we may have talked about something before and we'll always talk about something again, but we don't know if other people want to talk about something again. So
Facts.
We can talk about the same topic 50 different times. We're good on that, but we want to make sure we're talking about stuff that, is important or relevant or, just an interest to the people who listen and the people who participate and stuff like that. So I was going to just introduce kind of what we were going to talk about tonight. And
let's get into it. Let's do it.
I said we go live at 8:05. So did you get a chance to catch up?
Oh, catch up with what?
Well, just all of the posts of the things that we were going to talk about tonight. Matt was like, y'all going to have this done by 9:30?
I got the basics. I don't know. The other thing that you talked about, the different levels of something, I don't know.
Oh, the classism thing?
I didn't want to read that, so I purposely
you
didn't read that.
You said that.
But everything else, I'm
okay. I'm double checking really, really quickly to make sure we're up. Have you seen us up? Are we up?
I am looking on the page.
Okay, because my connection is super slow right now.
My stuff is acting bad right now too. I don't see it yet.
Yeah, I'm super slow, and it should be because we're up. We're up some damn where. Hell. Come on. All right, so we were going to talk about...
Hold on, I still don't... Do you see us up? I don't see us up yet.
I don't, but I see that we've got people watching us, so they're watching us from somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Let me see what the comments is talking about.
Is it on your page or did you put it on Free
It
Thinkers
should
page?
be on Free Thinkers. It had an error going to my page, but I resent it, hoping it would go. So it could be on my page, but it should be on Free Thinkers. It definitely went there.
Yeah, I don't see it on Free Thinkers yet. Let me see.
Anybody who's watching this,
I'm looking
who's in
for
the
it so I can
comments,
share it. Yeah.
if you're watching this, where are you watching this at? Yeah, it's on Free Thinkers.
And then my computer running slow too. It's like
I think it is, but maybe it's not. All right, so for anybody who's watching this, because there's obviously some people watching this, where are you watching this from? Are you in Free Thinkers? Are you on my page?
Oh, I still don't see anything. Okay, hold on.
I had 5 minutes of playing around on here, and it was perfectly fine until I hit go live.
All right, let me go to your page.
This is the so crummy part about technology. It's on my page for sure. So I'm gonna go. I don't know why it wasn't as easily accessible on the Free Thinkers page, but I'm gonna go put it over there right now.
Yeah.
But it is on my page, huh?
And shoot, I'm gonna have to shut my whole computer down again.
Oh no.
Well, I'm on my phone right now talking to you because my computer's acting stupid. Let me restart it again and see what happens.
It's always something, man. I don't know why this is not sharing. Like, my computer sucks.
Let me go get my tablet.
This is crazy. Well, anyways, so we went from a in the room meeting format of discussion to there we go.
Question.
Okay, so
let me ask you something.
Someone said it's on Free Thinkers. Okay. Sure can't get in Facebook. It is on the pin page. The pin post on Free Thinkers is the StreamYard link to get in, and it should be in your notifications too. What'd you say? Question?
Do you miss, or how much do you miss the live meeting?
I miss them, but I also miss them because I miss people, right? Oh, let me turn this down. So that's almost like that's a tricky question, because we've been doing this because we've been told we have to, kind of keep our distance from people. Right. So I miss people because we're going through that. So for that, I miss the room. Like, I love the reach, and I love the reach of online, but the room was definitely, it felt a little bit different, but I don't feel any less in love with my relationship with the online version either, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's still as equally important to me Tuesday nights online with a bunch of people who are willing to pour their guts out. As it was a room full of people, and you had a different dynamic then. What about you? What do you miss the in-person, the meetings?
I don't think I do.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Well,
really?
No, I don't think I do. But it's just. I'm looking at it through different lenses. Yeah. So number one, from a moderator's lens, I don't miss it as much because it's actually less responsibility when the room kind of provides its own energy. So sure, it didn't. I can kind of just sit back and
for online versus in person.
Right, in person, I can just sit back and kind of just let the conversation go. Online is a little bit different, but I don't think I miss it. No. That's weird, but
is that because online is like a total convenience factor? Is that because
convenient? I think so. It is
very convenient. I mean, you know how often I'd be late to the meeting, like driving across town, or my kids. I mean, I was looking at pictures of times where both you and I had our kids there as little kids, sitting at that table in the back with their iPads or some shit, Yep. and we had to have a certain topic, because we're like, shit, our kids are gonna fucking hear this. I mean, so I miss stuff like that.
Hey, my son is my son is a free thinker in training. I promise you.
If you ever talk to him,
he's so funny. Like
that's awesome.
He sounds just like me when he's talking. He's like, so let me break this down. I have two thoughts.
That's mine. Mine the same way. And I know yours probably 10 times worse, because I know y'all like to talk like that. Y'all just you get with him and you make sure that you leave your mark on him when you have him. I try to make sure. I don't even try to make sure. My kids, I guess they just don't have a choice. Like, this is just who they're going to be. They can maybe change whenever they, grow out and get out of the four walls of my house. But like, this is the foundation for which we set. But so online is convenient. It allows for a lot of flexibility. It's cool. It works. But
let me see. Oh, I got you. Okay, we can go. I'm really, only thing I'm trying to do is just share it.
Okay.
But anyway, let's go. Let's rock and roll.
We're up. All right. So the first
topic.
What do you want to do for the first topic?
You tell me. It don't matter.
Let's do the bad bitch one. People's feathers got ruffled over the bad bitch one.
Okay, let me look at what it said again.
There was
I just saw the picture.
Woman.
I saw the picture. I was like, oh, shoot, okay, let's go.
Okay.
And what did they say again on it? What did they say?
It just basically said, if you can't handle being with a woman if you can't handle being with a bad bitch, then you shouldn't be with a bad bitch. Referencing the fact that she was going to go out with her girls, I believe, I could be wrong, but if I recall the meme, the picture, she was going to go out with her friends, not with her man. And, she had on a super revealing type of top. And her boobs were definitely out. I mean, her nipples were covered. It wasn't nothing like that. But, it was some hella sexy shit. She got great set of boobs. Like, she's a beautiful woman. And so people, had a problem with letting their woman out of the house like that, letting their woman out of the house like that. Some people didn't, so that was that particular scenario. Would you have a problem with your sexy, voluptuous, maybe even you met her like that, like she's sexy, she's voluptuous, she's, they were like, is that woman a hoe? Well, why she got to be that? But would you have a problem with your woman going out without you dressed like that?
Nope, you're talking to the wrong person. So, first of all, I expect when my woman go out, I expect that men will hit on her.
Right.
Why would I want someone that nobody else wants? I know people want my girl. That's not even a question. I know that. Mm-hmm. So, I think the real question is, where does the insecurity lie?
So there was a reply on that picture from a man who said,
I want to hear this.
He said something to the effect of, I'm so sick and tired of insecurity being used to describe the man who might have a reaction to his woman going out like that. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because that certainly is kind of like how it can be perceived. Is like, dude, why are you tripping? Like, that's your chick. Like,
so are they saying that men are not insecure who don't want their women to be out there like that?
I think this. If I read the post correctly and I received it correctly, it was more so saying that it's not about men being insecure about themselves, but have a problem with their woman going out like this. He's sick of men being called insecure because maybe they have an issue with men going out like that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Let me tell you something from a man's point of view. Most men, not all, not 100%, most men who have an issue with their woman going out like that, there's a level of insecurity there.
I would agree.
Either there's an insecurity in themselves or there's a distrust in their woman. And
why would you have those,
Because hey, There's some fly niggas out there.
But if it's an insecurity
there's
issue,
dudes
like
out
that's
there
trash.
that got bank accounts that roll further than your. So now you are concerned about what your woman is appeal to. If you think another man can buy your woman out, then yeah, you might be concerned about that.
Then why are you with her? If you're with a woman who you know could be bought out by somebody else, why are you with her? No, I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to be with. I wouldn't want.
I wouldn't want that, but sometimes I wouldn't want to be with that.
If I feel
let me ask you. Hold on.
Ooh, no.
Hold on, Nikki. Let me ask you something. Do you see? I don't know what your Facebook timeline look like. Do you see? I have a lot of female friends, women. They're posting these pictures where they're out on vacation. They in Miami. They in Dubai. They in, Jamaica, Dominica. They just out here living it up. They vacationing it. But do you notice the women who take pictures by themselves? And I'm sitting up here like, nigga, you ain't by yourself. You with somebody.
You went on a solo trip.
You got a sponsor somewhere around there, but you're not putting that picture up on this one. Because let me tell you this. Let me go a step further.
Don't do it, Hammer.
And this is Deep Eddie and Red Diamond. So,
all right.
The women who are out with their girlfriends, they post pictures with their girlfriends with the whole squad, right?
I mean, but you at the beach is different. You with them bitches all the time.
So the woman who at the beach, she in Dubai, she across the country.
She taking selfies. She taking selfies.
Nikki, you taking this trip?
She got homegirl pictures. You
taking this trip by yourself? You taking this trip by yourself?
I mean, I don't want to, so I'd rather not. But
I'm saying, no. Do you think that these women who are taking these pictures, they're by themselves?
God. Anything is possible today. I mean, obviously this happens, right? Because it happens.
That is the funniest thing in the world to me when they take them pictures. Like, I'm supposed to believe that you actually by yourself when you're taking this picture.
I don't. So are we supposed to think the same when we see men posting those types of pictures without other women or like homeboys or family in the picture? Because like I've seen a few times where dudes are taking all these, wannabe sexy photos like on.
You don't listen when you're taking
beaches
the trip
and
somewhere.
Shit that are definitely not the Gulf. And I'm like, where's the chick or who are you with?
I'm not saying it's 100%, but how many people do you know take a cruise? You going on a 7-day cruise by yourself? Some people do. How many people do?
Well,
how many people do?
I don't know a lot of people, but I would say probably most are with somebody because you get like a double.
Why you not posting with your boo or your sponsor? See, they don't want to take the pictures with their sponsor.
Oh God, I can't go. I don't do trips like that. I don't know. You said you don't know what my timeline look like, but I don't have a lot of women on my timeline that are doing trips like that where they're not with somebody. Like most of the women on my timeline are with their homegirls or with their boo or they are with their children. Or, on occasion I'll see somebody who's doing a solo trip, and I believe that some of my, most of the women that I know are some boss type chicks, so they can take solo trips. You know what I'm saying? But that's ew.
So anyway, hold on. Let me go full circle.
Back to the insecurity thing.
Right. So but what I'm saying is the whole reason I brought that up is there's a large portion of men who got bank like that. If you ain't got that bank like that and you got people who's going to be approaching your woman and they like, hey, I want to take you on these trips and I want to buy you these bags and I want to do all this stuff for you that you probably can't do, you may be intimidated by that if you don't have a strong grip in your relationship.
Well, then maybe you don't need to be in that relationship. You're not ready.
It's possible.
You're not. I mean, sometimes people are not prepared to be in a relationship. I met a really nice guy once. I'm like, bro, you are not ready. You are just not ready in no parts of your life for a relationship. Like that's like, I'm not gonna even go down there with you. And no. So,
So yeah, that I'm saying that's part of it, where a lot of men's insecurities come from. Because if your girl bad, you gonna have it's a lot of dudes out there who going.
But then why are you with her? Or better yet, why is she with an insecure dude? Like, why would she stay with somebody who is gonna have a problem? Now, at the same time, I will say
certain insecurities can be natural. I understand how certain people can, because listen, there's always somebody who's better looking than you, got more muscles than you, got more money than you. That's always going to be the case. And in reality, that's where a lot of women's insecurities come from too. Sure. It's always going to be another woman that's younger and have a bigger booty and have whatever. That it comes.
But would you have a problem with your woman exposing her breasts in the manner in which this lady was in this picture? Nope, like I said, her nipples are covered, but it was out, and she had a great set. Like, she was definitely accentuating her beautiful top half of her body. Like, so if your woman decided that she wanted to dress like that and flaunt how sexy she is, and she's going out with her girls, would you have a problem with that? Would you want her to be covered up?
No. I want her. I'll be like, when my girl leave, I'll be like, you better get at least 3 to 4 numbers. I ain't telling you to use the numbers, but I'm telling you.
For years.
Exactly. That's my expectation. If you go out there, I expect you to look fly. I expect men to hit on you. I expect it.
Right. I think that's a very fair, neutral attitude to have too. Like, it prevents tripping from happening. It prevents her from going out feeling like, oh fuck, if I tell him or if I don't tell him. And ultimately she probably want to tell you, but like if you don't present this atmosphere where it's safe to even tell you, she ain't gonna tell you, Yep, but some people felt like a woman who was dressing in that manner was soliciting a certain type of attention. And why would my woman be out there soliciting that type of attention if this is my woman, if I'm doing my job, this is my woman? Like, why would she be soliciting? Garnering was a word somebody used. Why would she be garnering that type of attention? Period. Like, this is my woman now, so put your titties back.
So let's get to a deeper conversation, Nikki.
Okay.
Is the endorsement of your partner by itself enough? And what I mean by that is,
God damn it,
your man, your woman tell you you're beautiful, you're handsome, I like you, I like you just the way that you are. You all that in a bag of chips. Is that enough for you? Or do you, because there's a certain part of people who, like, yeah, that's my woman, that's my man. Of course they're gonna say that. Of course they feel that way about me. But there's a certain part of you that wants to gauge, like, am I really that same person that I was, when I was 25? Do I still got it? Am I still able to pull? Not that you're gonna go cheat or do anything crazy like that, but there's a certain it's a different level of validation when strangers come to you showing interest versus the person that you with.
Right. I think that question can be answered in a lot of different ways, right? If you are somebody, we'll take the woman in this particular stance. If you are a woman who, let's say your partner does all of those things, right? Gives you all of those compliments and assures you of, your beauty and stuff like that to them, she might not really, I don't know, feel the need.
And what else is your girl gonna say?
Well, but I'm saying she might not feel like she needs some validation sometimes from strangers, right? But if
sometimes she don't, but sometimes she might.
But if you're with a partner who does not compliment you, who does not make you feel sexy, who does not tell you that you're beautiful, who doesn't, compliment you, like if you're with somebody who doesn't do those things, and you can get those things, I mean.
Hold on. I think that's a different story, though.
I'm just saying there's different ways to answer that question. There's so many different dynamics as to people's response to that interest from a stranger, to that sexual, physical, validation that you are sexy to me, like, It's like hitting the like button, the constant like button, right? Like people checking for likes, checking for likes, checking for likes. Like,
but love is blinding, though, right? So of
what do
course,
you mean?
the person who loves you, they're gonna see you through a different lens as the rest of the world.
Right.
So my girl can tell you, "Oh, Q, yeah, you look great. I love your body. I love the way you look." And I'm over here, my titties over here sagging and all type of stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm in full dad bod mode right now. So it's like you telling me this, but that ain't what I'm seeing. So there's a certain part of you that's like, am I really still attractive, or is this? Because it's certain parts of you that's like, I'm glad she feels that way, but I can't really take what she says as being totally credible because she's looking at me through a different lens as everybody else.
But she ain't gotta like you though. She ain't got to.
That's what I'm saying. You appreciate it.
So
you absolutely appreciate it.
Right. I don't know. I just feel like if your partner, is making you feel wanted, desired, sexy, attractive, all of those things, like, I mean, unless you just like to have outside validation, you don't usually, I don't know, you don't generally seek it in other places. But to have a problem with the way she dressed, people were like, well, is that how she dressed when you met her? And if she was, then why do you have a problem now? Like, you met her dressed like that.
Right.
If you think she's a hoe now, did you think she was a hoe then? Like, what? So there was quite a few different things that were said on there. Is it true that like there's a certain caliber of women that, let's say, if a man just really is that insecure about himself, he cannot be with a certain caliber of women? Like, you can't have a bad bitch. Like, you are not secure enough in your own skin.
That is true. You gotta be, your level of security has to be on a different level. That's true.
So that's true.
That's absolutely true.
Damn it.
If you don't, some people not, you gotta be honest with yourself.
You're right about that.
Some people are not on that level. Like, you can't handle the bad B.
Right.
The one that everybody's looking at, the one that makes all the heads turn in the room.
Right.
Everybody can't handle that. I'll be honest. In my early 20s, I couldn't handle that.
Really?
Heck no, I was jealous as all. Oh my God, I was
even
jealous.
If that was like your girl, like
I was super jealous. The fact that I knew my girl was fine made me more jealous. It made me more insecure.
Wow.
That was me in my early 20s. Now I'm a different. So Net said something that I kind of echoed, I think, what I said earlier. It said no man or woman wants a person that another is not going to get the eyes of others. So like, why would you want somebody that nobody else is interested in?
I don't want you to want my man. That's fine for me. That is totally fine for me. I don't want nobody want my motherfucking man.
Hold on, Nikki, back up.
Me.
Back up.
What works for me don't work for everybody. If you
go out with your man and nobody else is interested, like
I hope nobody is.
Patrice O'Neal said, the smell of honey and salmon is not on them to where other people are attracted to them.
I hope nobody want my goddamn man. Goddamn it. That's what I hope.
You don't want nobody to be attracted to your man. That wouldn't bother you that nobody's attracted to your man.
No, not at all. No, let that be for me. That's all mine. That's all me. That's all mine.
Okay.
No, but I also, I don't know what, but beauty is also the eye of the beholder. What is attractive for one person isn't attractive for the next person, But no, I mean, at the same time, I don't think I've ever been with an ugly man, but that's also to my standard, right? Like, now there are some women who may have thought some of the men I've been with are not attractive, but shit, if they weren't, to me, we would have been a situation. But no, I don't want nobody to think my man attractive and all that. Want to get with him? I don't need any of that extra. Hell no! I don't need
want nobody thinking that your man is attractive.
I don't need none of that energy in my life.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, I don't want him to be no ugly ass undesirable man. Now I know the reality is bitches do want.
So hold on. You wouldn't have a problem if you got your man and your closest homegirls be around, be like, oh, okay, good for you.
They better not tell me he look good. They better not tell me he look good.
But they don't have to say it.
They better not. They better not blow nothing my direction that tells me that they're looking at my man other than he's a good man and I see why you with him. Shit, that better be all they say.
So you one of them. Your man can't leave the house in a tank top and
he can do whatever the fuck he
wants to. No, he can't.
Shit, yes he can. Yes he can. Because I am. Shit, yes he can. Because I am. Yes he can. Yes he can. Okay. And so that doesn't mean that. And a lot of people think that that means that, and it doesn't. Like, I'm not possessive with my man. Like, no, you do whatever.
Why would you not want your man to be attractive to other people?
Because I don't care about that shit. That's my man. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Okay. I really am not them. All right. I don't care if somebody, like, why? No. So is that like, is that abnormal? Does that make me weird? Or are you weird because you want men to sleep with your woman?
I didn't say sleep with them. I just said,
I'm just saying.
To be attracted to.
They lust
but I think that's
they
what
lust.
Men and women are, men, you definitely hear talking about having a trophy wife. Mm-hmm. Trophy wife is just somebody you put on your shoulder. It's for all others to see and admire, but not be able to have. That's normal.
Do most men want a trophy wife?
Yes, they do.
They want something
because not only that, because it reflects back to you, and it makes you more attractive to the opposite sex as well. Even though you're taken, they be like, I could be the most average looking dude in the world. And look, I can even tell you from experience. I mean, I'm middle-aged, decent, whatever. I'm a solid 7.5, 8, whatever. People who would see me not think much of me, they see me walking with my girl, now they be like, hold on, something else. It got to be something else. If he can pull that, then it's something else about him that I'm not seeing. Either he got some personality, he got that meat, he got some money, he got something. But
it's usually a little short list. The list ain't real long. It's
exactly,
a short list.
But it causes intrigue from the opposite sex to say, he ain't the top of the food chain, but he pulling that. So what is it about him that he'd be able to pull something like that? Mm-hmm. Even a woman like that too. You can find the most average woman in the world. If she can pull like some super fly dude that other people want to get with, other people look at that like,
oh, that's true.
What is it about her that she can pull somebody like that?
Right. I'm
intrigued.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. So, but do I want that? It's not, it's not even something I think about. I don't even think about that. I don't. I prefer to probably not have that dynamic. I don't know. I don't know. But I wouldn't have a problem. If I was a man, I don't feel like I'd have a problem with my woman going out like that. I don't. I don't feel like I would have a problem with my woman showing off those beautiful set of boobs that nobody else is going to touch.
I'm looking at this picture. She got some nice ones.
That's what I'm saying. So that's his. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as she get back in the house, that's all him. Like dudes don't understand if you trip less about shit like that, all them titties is finna go in your face. Like, this finna be all for you. Like, why would you fuck that off by being dumb and insecure and saying stupid shit like, oh, why you finna dress like that?
And not only that, one of the most attractive traits to a man is security. If you're secure, then that's attractive to a woman.
Right.
If you're insecure, that's not attractive to insecurity is not attractive to a woman.
She know what she doing.
So yeah, that's one of the, so hold on, let me see so on the live that I'm looking on, I tried to get on StreamYard directly from it, and this link is not won't direct me to it. So I guess I have to find your original link.
There's only one link. It
might have been hold on.
Let me go repost it.
Because I've seen a couple people was trying to get on, and I'm trying to make sure I walk through the process to where I can see how to get on.
At the very top in our pinned posts, it should have the instructions.
I saw the link, but it didn't direct me back to it didn't direct me to it. It just directed me to something else. Weird, kind of.
It should just throw you in right where the hell we at.
So.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh yeah, I see that.
See, now when I go to your ad,
hold on, where's the? This is crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I saw some people on there saying that they're trying to get on, and then when I tried to use that same link to check to see if it worked, it didn't direct me to it.
Let me see. Hold on. Announcements. There we go. Go to Mother Flipper. Okay. Well, give me a brief moment. Hold on.
Okay. Maybe it's just prompted me for like a login code. I'm trying to figure
You shouldn't have to do any of that.
I didn't have to do it on my phone, but on my computer it's asking me different stuff. So yeah, on my computer it's
okay. Here is the code. Copy to clipboard. Can I? Oh, I can post a comment. Come on, son of a biscuit. Post. Okay. So I've got the link. Let me go over here.
See, this is asking me to create a broadcast. So yeah, it's just not linking me directly to it. It's doing some other stuff.
I am going to the page right now, and I just posted the link.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get off my phone and get on my computer, but it's not.
No, it's right there at the top. Let me see if I can. And it's crazy because I literally put the link in here earlier today, so that it was easy to find, and it totally took it out.
Yeah, I'm with Net. Net says she wants people to see her man and be in awe of him, but they just can't touch him. That's all.
I mean,
look, but don't touch.
Yes, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. Like, damn, let her have it while she still got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for us, I can't speak as a man. I'm not a man. I know that the beauty standards are different for men than they are for women, right?
Hold on, this is what I go back to. If you're not handling your business, if your conversation game ain't right, if you don't communicate and you're not in sync with your partner, then yes, you probably should feel insecure about her going out like that, because you can easily be replaced. One thing about me, I know that I can't be easily replaced.
You know,
you might find I cannot easily be replaced. The things that I don't possess, like wealth, yeah, you can find that with somebody else.
Right.
But my conversation game, the way that I know you, the way that I operate there, no, everybody ain't got that. You're not gonna find, and I know this for a fact. And I'm secure in who I am. I'm secure in what I bring to the table.
So you think that obviously then is an issue that the men need to,
of course,
address, because so you think that if so would it be fair to say that if any man essentially is tripping on their woman going out like that, them tripping if their woman is not, you know, of cheater quality, like that's about them, they need to go get that situation taken care of. Like,
in a lot of cases, but hold on, but there's a flip side to this. The same way that I've heard women consistently talk about predatory type men, and you know, especially different places where you go, and men being aggressive and men, you know, trying to force their way into situations and stuff like that. Women talk about this all the time, how, you know, men are overly aggressive, don't know how to take no for an answer, things like that. So if you go into certain environments and you wear certain things, then yeah, there's I can get from that standpoint where a man say, hey, I don't want you out like that, especially by yourself where I'm not able to protect you. I'd have an issue with that. That's
Right.
understandable.
Right. And that would be a doable situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that. I think generally most women probably wouldn't put themselves in that position.
But that's from the aspect of, since I'm not there to, you know, a man who feels as that they're a protector and they want to be able to protect you. If they take that stance, it's a little bit more understandable. So what I'm saying also, that man shouldn't have a problem with you wearing that if he's with you, right?
No, like, and wouldn't most men?
But some men have a problem even if they're with you.
I can see that too. Some men probably would have a big problem with that type of attention.
And it's something like some men kill me. It's like they over here like mean mugging everybody who looking at them like, yo, your girl look fly, her titties is out.
Right.
People gonna look.
Right.
What do you expect? Now ain't nobody trying to walk up and talk to your girl.
Right, not doing some outlandishly in your face disrespectful,
but you can't get mad because people looking.
Right.
I don't get that part. Like, why would you get up? You shouldn't get upset to that extent. So even if I'm out with my girl, I expect people to look. You just don't cross the line. Don't be you see me here with her, so don't you be disrespectful in that manner. You can look from a distance. Hey, look, hey, that's expected.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the bottom line is it's an insecurity issue. Outside of that, there'd be no reason to trip. Yeah,
95% is an insecurity issue, and the other 5% is just a security issue as far as from protection goes.
Sure.
I leave room open for those 5%, but most people, that ain't most people.
We were talking about boobies being out.
Yes. You went mute, Ivory. There we go.
Yeah, that's all you got. That's all she just.
No, my child is crying. I was trying to scare y'all from the crying baby. It's okay, little buddy.
You said the word.
No,
you said the word boobs.
I commented on this, and if that's how you got her, then leave her alone. But I don't think you should switch up on people. Like, if that's not how you was dressing when he met you and he thought you was something different, and then one day you like, I'm a woman, I'm sexy. That's kind of not fair to me. That might not be what he likes. So
I have a question.
If she does the switch up like somewhere midway into the relationship or prior to, okay.
I have a question.
That would be weird. That'd be interesting. I'd be like,
I have a question.
Okay.
Listening.
Is it unfair to expect certain concessions once you get into a relationship? So if this is your single club attire, should it be fair for someone to say, okay, I get it, that's your single club attire, but now where's your relationship attire? Like, do you always have to just say, this is how I met you, this is how you have to continue to be?
No.
Or can there be certain expectations like, all right, well, we're going to dial back on this a little bit?
I think there can be conversations about what you would prefer and see if a person's willing to meet you. I don't think you can make an expectation, though. That's not fair.
Ivory.
A conversation.
What would you prefer her to not wear after that she may had worn before?
Don't
like, what are we
narrow it down to just the wearing. Like I'm saying with anything, you can make okay, I ran into you at a club and I hollered at you. Do that mean I get to go around hollering at people because, hey, that's how I met you, hollering at people? You know, that's what I do, is just I holler, I talk, I flirt, I do whatever I do. No. You can't get mad now that we in a relationship.
No.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
We know that dude. We know him.
There's certain things that you gotta cut out once you get in a relationship.
Okay.
I met you because I hollered, right? So now you can't get mad because I still be hollering.
I mean, but so I guess the answer to your question is yes, but as Ivory said, it requires conversation. Like, we have to talk about those things, right? Because some things are not going to be up for discussion. Some things are not going to be changeable simply because we're in a relationship or I'm into a relationship with somebody at this time. but I think it's fair to expect some things to change. Absolutely. They have to.
Okay, that's
yeah. They have
to. I think, like I said, it's a conversation, and if you're willing, like I would say before I was in a relationship, I would have thought nothing about like going to the beach and maybe one of my friends take a picture or something. Like it wouldn't have like crossed my mind. But
and all of a sudden now, God forbid.
But no, my husband told me, and this was when we were dating. I was going to the beach with my friends, and he said, "Tell your friends not to post any pictures of you in your swimsuit, like online." Right. And I was like, "Oh, I really wouldn't have thought about it," but I was like, "Okay." So it wasn't like a thing to me, but that was a thing for him. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
But so sometimes if it's not that big of a deal, like I'm like, let it go. But if it is a big deal, because that's what I'm saying, some women is really serious about their sexy now. They like, that's a big deal for them. Like that's a part of their identity. Now I might not agree with it, but if that's how you met them, like don't be trying to change them, and that's how you met them.
I mean, I definitely think that I think there's levels to that particular statement for sure. Like a man who may meet a woman who is in the adult industry or something. Like, bro, maybe she has an OnlyFans page. Like, you can't ask her to not do X, Y, Z. Like, this is what she does. Like, so attire can be some of those things. I think, it was just interesting to see the split reactions on that particular post about.
I agree with Ivory.
Would you have a problem with her going out dressed a certain way?
Before you get in a relationship about that.
Yeah. Well, but sometimes do you think that you don't know all of the things, right? Like until you are getting to know somebody, because you don't know how somebody's going to respond until they have to respond to a certain situation. So maybe you don't go out a whole lot, so you haven't put them in a situation to where they see your go out attire. Would you say you're not single clothes? You're single clothes? So now the relationship clothes have been, we just go out to eat, we go to the movies, I go to work, we haven't been going out, but this is my go out clothes. Like, what is she supposed to wear?
Something different. Really, honestly, my thought is normally men pick the kind of women they want to be with. And so you can kind of get a gauge of a woman who's a little bit more like showy and wants to show herself off versus someone who's a little bit more conservative or whatever. And so men kind of pick what they like. And if you pick what you like, you shouldn't really have those issues later. Like I said, unless somebody really switches up on you. And nobody should switch up on each other. I mean, that's my thing. Like, my husband met me, I wasn't like, I like to dress up, but I wasn't.
Where did y'all meet at?
We met at a house party. I wasn't like show everything off, but I mean, I know he's really particular about stuff like that. So like, we seen somebody walking down the street once, and like they just had the cheeks was all the way out, just. And he was like, "If you ever out here like nobody love you," that's how he feels.
That's like nobody love you.
You ever out here on this street like I don't love you? That's how he feel when he sees stuff like that. He thinks it's like attention-seeking behavior. And I'm not judging, but if you have somebody who thinks like that, then you might want to cover that up. Don't switch up on them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad he thinks like that because I don't want to see your cheeks. Takes the load off of me. Stokely, what are you thinking, sir? Jump in. Stokely got some noise going on in the background.
He must. He's like, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Tierra got in. Thinking? Jump in.
Is this about being afraid of your woman being a bad bitch, like the way she dresses?
Yeah, with them purple ones that was out there.
Well, I have a big chest, so pretty much everything I wear is out there. It's hard to cover up. It's hard to not notice. I mean, I can wear a turtleneck and still get noticed because of my large chest. So it's really no covering that up. You know what I mean? It's no covering up these hips and these dips and these, like, I can put on jeans and you're going to still see this curvaceous body. So, and I think we curvaceous women often get scrutinized because, you know, or even, you know, like discriminated against because, you know, smaller women can get away with a lot of stuff, whereas woman that has a large chest can't. And
that's true, Tier.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so for me and my fiance doesn't care. I had my ass cheeks all the way out in Puerto Rico. I was at the beach. I mean, I'm not going to be in a whole what is it called? The swimsuit, the from the head to toe. I'm going to be. It's hot out there. I had the ass cheeks out. Okay, I had basically almost like a thong bikini on. And
I mean, how do you not? Where were you at? The Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico. Everybody.
How do you not? You have to.
Everybody was dressed like that.
Hold on. So you mean that your booty would be that hot if you was wearing?
It's all right. It's gonna hit that water. That's all right.
If you
your booty just on fire,
if you wearing a scuba diving costume on, you would have looked crazy because most of the girls had.
Oh no!
Puerto Rico, everybody had their ass out.
Right.
It was, you know, it's not a big thing over there.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I mean, am I going to be walking around the grocery store like that? Absolutely
God,
not.
no. Right. You know right. No. Please don't.
Baby, okay, so I ain't got time for folks to be putting my groceries in my car. I got Publix for that.
Okay.
But this is the question I wanted to ask you though. Is it so, like you said, you can't hide. Ain't no way you're gonna be able to hide your curves. Ain't no way that you get around that. But does it say something to someone who, like, is more openly trying to expose their curves, got their ass cheeks out? Like, are you approached differently? Because my thought is there's certain things that you can't cover. Look, if you got the curves, you can't cover it up. But by the way you dress, it sends a message that I'm not open to I'm not trying to invite certain type of attention to me when, even though my curves, you're going to see my curves, but by the way that I'm covered up, it's giving the impression that I'm not looking for that attention that others may be looking for.
Man, when I tell you, I got so many work husbands and I ain't trying to have no work husbands. When I was, like I said, when I was in the office, it wasn't like a V-neck, you know, where you can see even, I mean, I was pretty much covered up, jackets, suit jackets, things like that. So that you can see my huge breast and those things. There's nowhere you get around it. But my facial expressions and how I respond definitely lets them know, regardless of what I have on. If that, because, you know, people react also not all of first impressions, but your conversation. Some people are very open and friendly and inviting, and they think they can take it another level. Whereas some people, you know, right up front, she looks mean. She looks like, don't play with me. She looks like I'm all about business. So yeah, I have a curvaceous figure, and guys will take a second look like, oh, okay, I see that ass. But at the same time, how I carry myself far as communication and how I speak to other people also gives off the vibe that, no, this is not what you're going to try with me today.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I have a big bosom. But I was gonna say it's when you have a big chest, it's hard. You can't really hide it. But I do think, like, I'm really conscious about not showing a bunch of cleavage, because it is a certain level of attention that I don't really want. Now I wear something tight sometimes, you know, I don't mind that, but like I'm not really big on a bunch of skin, because I don't want a bunch of the wrong attention either. So, you know.
Would you wear something different if it didn't get attention? Like, for me, I just think it feels good sometimes to feel good. Now, granted, your feel good is different than my feel good versus the next woman's feel good. But like, when you know you're standing in that mirror and you got a little, you know, they showing a little bit. Like my girl used to say, them titties is pretty, you know, when they looking pretty. Like, do you not ever Q, close your ears. Y'all mama need to close their ears. Do you ever, do you ever want to go out, like that? If you didn't get that attention that you don't want to receive from other people, would you, because you feel good, that you look good, that it feels good to you?
And I guess I see what you're saying, Nikki. For me, the cleavage, the attention from the cleavage doesn't feel good to me.
Right. No,
but
not that.
The attention,
just how you
the
look
same
to
thing.
you.
But the attention from just like something form fitting, and like how I feel when I put on something form fitting and I'm at the weight I want, right?
Right.
That feels good to me. So me and my
Right.
husband are going on a date, and I have, like maybe a more form fitted dress. Like I feel good
Right.
and things like that. So I think it just depends on what you feel
Right.
good in.
Right.
I got a backwards question. Let me ask a backwards question real quick. So is there ever a time where, for those of you, if you still ever go to the club or go to a bar or something like that, you see another lady that's getting a lot of attention, but they're getting a lot of attention from guys because of what they're wearing. But when you look at them, like, her ass ain't big as mine. Her body ain't good as mine. She don't look better than me. So why is it that, is there a certain part of you that is secretly in competition to be like, you know what, they not even that fly. Why are they getting this amount of attention?
No. Men will fuck a rat,
It doesn't matter how she looks.
It don't matter how she looks.
It doesn't matter how much better or worse she is than me.
Okay, so for my mature-minded queens on this show, when you were in your early 20s, coming out of college, is that the same mindset that you had, or did you feel more of a level of competition?
No,
never. I was
never.
in my bubble. I was so in my own world. I just I didn't even notice guys were trying to holler at me because I'd be so much in my own bubble. Like, I just wanted to have friends and my homegirls. Let's go out and enjoy music. That was it. Like, guys talking to that wasn't like our first thought. Like, I was so much in my bubble. People come back to this day and be like, "Oh, I was trying to holler at you back in the day." I'm like, I
was competing in my early 20s. I admit it. Yeah. And I had got to college and lost 20 pounds. Yeah, I thought I was fly.
She said, "You could tell me nothing."
I was dressing it up. I was wearing heels down the Tiger Walk, tripping and stuff. It was a hot mess.
Oh my God, that is so funny. See,
y'all lucky my TV is so loud and the ice machine's going and shit. I got so much noise going on. I can't even interject in this.
I didn't compete. I didn't compete because I knew where I was in my skin. I knew that I was not the 10 on anybody's level. So I was always comfortable with who I was and where I was. And I never cared what another woman had. I mean, but I oftentimes would usually say something like, "Shit, she got it," or more power to
Nikki,
her, or she got more confidence than I do. Shit.
But what happened when she don't got it? But she's just showing what she do got and she getting more attention.
There is something in her mind that tells her that she can pull that off, and she did. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what that is. I mean, because unless somebody is really just going out with the intention of making a fool of themselves, of embarrassing themselves, and I don't think that most of those people are going out with that intention, but I think that in their mind, this confidently feels good to them, so they don't care what other people think. And I mean that's a security that I would like to obtain one of these days. It might not be for me, but
I was gonna say, and I learned from wearing crazy stuff in my early 20s. I mean, the attention I got was just not ultimately the attention that I wanted.
Right.
And so
and that'll teach you that real quick.
I got learned within a year. And so you meeting somebody, they are really cute, and you're like, "Oh, we're exchanging numbers. Oh, this is great. They fine." and they like say something about your ass. You know, like, I mean, just straight up, just the whole word. And you like, oh no, I'm never calling you. You know, but I had to start realizing this is your presentation. Your presentation was your body to this person. And so now you're wondering why they're communicating with you about your body, but this is the first thing you presented to them. So that was a learning lesson for me in my early 20s. So
I will say this, moving to the South, I did see a lot of colorism. I didn't notice that
real bad.
Yes.
When I was
absolutely.
Yeah.
Real bad.
And it didn't, like, because, you know, I am who I am. I can be light in the wintertime and chocolate in the summertime. So I kind of am that brown girl. I'm not the in between. But I noticed that it was a lot of people just really targeting a certain colorism. And I didn't fault them for that, because anybody can have their preference. But I did see that a lot. And I was trying to figure out what was that.
Did you freeze up?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hold on seconds here. You freezing up a little
bit. They had to have a big butt or a large breast or and kind of still. Let me try.
Just
to,
had to be like.
Yeah. Let me go back. Am I good?
Keep
I
talking.
turned my Wi-Fi on to try to see. We're getting some storms coming through here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I can hear you right now.
Okay, yeah, we got some storms coming through. I just heard some lightning and thunder. But yeah, it was kind of. That was kind of surprising. Not that I really cared, because I never had I was never a lonely girl. But it was a big thing where it was, light is bright, the bright is light, right, or whatever. And they want a yellow bone. And I never really understood that yellow bone, red bone type thing until I really seen it firsthand when I moved to Georgia.
Wow. Texas too, just as bad. Texas when I came to college from Illinois. It's like, she was tough in the South. Like, the description was not she was pretty.
She was
the description was she's a yellow bone. And I'd be like, so is she cute?
Right.
And they like, I
said they would use that as an attribute to say how cute she was, that she's yellow.
Like,
up
and y'all didn't see that till y'all got to the South?
No.
Yeah, no, I did not see that.
Not in that.
There is some colorism up north, but it wasn't you were cute just because you were like
right.
Like, you had to actually be cute.
Right. Wow, that's interesting that y'all all said the same thing.
I mean,
wow.
It's crazy because, the saddest part about this is it's not only girls that do it. It's dudes that do it. Light-skinned brothers hate, like, I'm Honey Nut Brown. That's what they tell me on the streets. Delicious Honey Nut Brown. But the brothers, light-skinned brothers don't like dark-skinned brothers in some situations. I don't care about that mess. But it is crazy. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It is a real thing, so.
No, I know that. I just was so surprised that they all unanimously were like, I didn't really experience that till I got to the South. That definitely tripped me out.
It was.
I guess because I'm just from the South. Like, it's just something, that I've definitely heard within conversation, obviously, over the course of being here forever. That's interesting that was the experience coming to the South. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't see it.
Culture shock. It was culture shock.
Wow.
You don't see it in Connecticut, you don't see it. And of all places on earth, I lived in Vermont for 5 years, and I was like the only Black person there. So you didn't see it there either. So
right.
And it wasn't like Ivory said, it wasn't like it was guys not dating lighter girls or mixed girls or white girls or anything. It was going on, but it was just the conversation that they were having, like, this is what they want because of this. And it was only really kind of, that was their leading driver for the relationship. And I was like,
yep.
That's weird.
Damn, interesting. Yeah.
Georgia was really bad.
I would think, right next to Louisiana. I mean, because red bone and yellow bone was definitely just like, that is literally how women were described, like, growing up. If you said a woman was red bone, I knew what she looked like. If you said she was yellow bone, I knew what she looked like. Like, if she was yellow, she was dark. Like, you knew that's literally how people were described when looking at attributes of like the opposite sex type thing. Absolutely. It's just interesting that that's something
that's
happens more here, or that you see more in the South. And I wonder why that is. I wonder what attributes to that.
Slavery.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, but
Field
just
versus house nigga.
Yeah, it's just passed down. It was passed down a little differently down here than up north, because
that's absolutely
it was a thing,
correct.
and it wasn't just, it was made a thing. That like I said, field nigga, house nigga, and they would just take the lighter skinned people and put them in the house, and they would just find any means to separate and divide to make you hate the other person. So that stuff trickles down.
Yeah, and
it trickles down in the mindset of parents, and they pass it down.
Oh yeah. No, colorism has been probably one of the saddest things I've experienced in a couple different scenarios. But wow, it's a very interesting perspective. I appreciate y'all for sharing that.
We got like 23 minutes. We jump into the next thing.
Yep.
Yeah, we can, because Matt said we're not going to get all 4 of these in one conversation.
No.
Okay, so the other one we had, y'all can kind of pick, because we're just having our little conversation together. We had
talk
China.
Talk about
that. China banning or protesting the, and correct me if I get the word wrong, effeminate imagery of men. So China is basically saying, literally, no more sissy idols was the word that they used. No sissy idols.
Well, y'all know the problem China's having right now, right? Though.
What?
They've taken off their one-child ban.
Yeah.
Because they have a society that is unbalanced and full of men right now. So they're having more gay people than they normally have, because they don't have as many women anymore. Because people were aborting their girls to get their one child to be a son. And so, I mean, that's what's not being said is if the society is unbalanced, then it's hard to find a woman to marry. I mean, you're going to find your man. I mean, not everybody, but some people going to be in a relationship with somebody. And so they're having some effeminate problems that they created.
Somebody's got super feedback.
It's that little crackling going on again. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, let me see if I move
feedback. Ooh.
That's you, Tia.
What was that? That was it's gone now. Whatever that may have been.
Tia muted the thing. It's you, Tia.
It's all you.
Crackle, snap, pop.
And I wondered, like, and I didn't read the article. I just saw the snippets a couple different times, so I didn't investigate much about what they were, what the why was, right? But I totally wondered in my heart of hearts if it was because there were like a lot of gay Chinese men or something, like coming out or becoming part of pop culture or become a part of something, to where they had to ban the images from television.
But hold on, I have a question with that, Nikki.
Okay.
Do we have to include homosexuality or sexual preference when it comes to, you can be gay and act like a man? Like, there's nothing about you that you got to act sissified just because of, I mean, you can still, I know several manly homosexual males.
Right.
Like, what is the thing?
Yeah, the man in the relationship normally acts manly.
But what is it about a relationship? Like, what is it about a person that goes beyond sexuality? Like, why do you have to act effeminate? Why do you have to act like a woman? Why do you have to take mannerisms of a woman?
Well, and honestly, most women don't act like that sometimes.
They exaggerate it more so than women do. Yes, correct.
Could it be, and this is just me asking a totally honest question because that's what we do here. Could it be, hold on, I'm putting tea back in. Could it be if some, all, whatever, are born gay, and I do believe that some people are absolutely born gay. I do believe that. Could that be part of the, I don't know. If they say that we have 6 sexes, right? Because we've had this argument before. If they say that there are 6 sexes and the different ways of the X's and Y, I'm just saying this is what they say, that there are 6 sexes. That's why you have transgender people. You got X, Y's, Y, X, Y. So the combination of the X's and the Y's, like, could that be a chromosomal thing that happens that, for whatever, like is flamboyancy, like a genetic, I don't know. Because that's a question that is legitimately asked. I do hear a lot of men ask that question, and not men who are trying to be offensive to homophobic men, but I do hear a lot of heterosexual men say, why the flamboyancy? Like, if you're gay, that's fine. But like, I know a million women and none of them do that. None of them act like that. So
I'm one of those people who have that question.
I think that's a very fair question. I do, but I'm not a gay man, so I can't answer.
Question.
Me neither.
We went to my grandmother's funeral a couple of years ago, and Sonia happened to say to me, she goes, "Wow." Let me back up just 1 second. So my stepfather's side of the family, let me clarify that real quick. It's like every third man on that side of the family is kind of flamboyant. And, growing up, I'm looking at them and I'm like, that's my uncle, or that's my third cousin removed and all this other stuff. But then they have kids and their sons, and she brought it to my attention and said that, and I was like, oh, you're right. It's like a lot of gay men on that side of the family. But that's my mom's husband's side of the family. So I don't know what it is, but as I sit back and we're having the conversation, I'm thinking I can say there's probably 6, 7 of them that are out just wild out, they're flamboyant. I don't know what it is, but it is. Still love them all the same, though,
That's just a logical theory.
I'm thinking if your theory is going to be the same as mine, go ahead.
If you, hit puberty or before, because a lot of people, know who they like in first and second grade.
Right.
And you say, who I likes girls. Most of who I likes girls. This is how girls act. I'm going to act like them because who I likes them. I mean, that makes sense to me.
But all gay men can't think we act like that. Like,
well, I mean, it's an exaggeration.
God, we don't freaking all act like that.
Anytime somebody imitates somebody else, they normally end up exaggerating that person.
White people
so
try to
is that the thing? Is that the thing?
Yeah. But I'm just thinking, if you
any American try to imitate an Asian, it's a terrible
it's always exaggeration. But I'm just thinking, if you're growing up and you're like, I like boys, but boys like girls. Maybe if I act like a girl, one of the boys I like will like me.
You do what's effective. That's not. I don't think that.
No, it isn't. Who say it ain't effective?
Yeah. Okay.
You are signaling to a boy that might like you that you will like them back when you act like that. Right? You are signaling to a masculine gay man. Listen, you are signaling to a masculine gay man that I'm gay and I might like you back.
Okay. Yeah, you are flagging yourself. I agree with that.
So does that go the same for like women that are, I don't know, I guess they're called studs or whatever? Is that the same?
Butch,
studs, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Who I like boys. Let me act like one.
Let me give you my theory.
But that's because don't they generally identify or feel like men, so they would act as such? But at least they do shit what men do. These gay men are not doing shit that women do because we don't do that.
No, they do because this one little guy I worked with. His name is I'm gonna name him, but he loved Beyonce, and he walked around the office doing all Beyonce songs. And then one day, when we were all getting ready to go to lunch, he says, "Hang on, I gotta go TT." And I'm thinking, like, what the hell?
That's what little kids say. Now that's just weird to me. I would have to look at you real funny from this point forward.
I was like, wow.
Like, well, you gotta stop it. Cut it out.
Toddlers say that.
Too much. Cut it out.
All right, Q, what's your theory?
TT, you got a TT. What the?
Yeah, that's too much.
Man,
sprinkle. I got a tinkle.
I'm gonna smack you on the back of your hand. Stop it. Cut it out.
Hey, be fair. I'm saying tinkle now because I'm just so used to saying it with my toddlers. I find myself saying I got to tinkle too. Oh God, it's horrible.
Oh my God.
I ain't never said that, Ivory. You need to cut that out.
Please don't.
Cut it out, Ivory. You gotta pee.
Right. Go to the bathroom.
You're muted, Ivory. I can't hear you. God didn't want me to hear what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. I'm saying you saying all day to a toddler. Do you have to go tinkle? Do you gotta go tink tink?
Stop saying
and then
tinkle.
And then you end up saying, "Mommy gotta go tink tink." Mommy gotta go
stop
tinkle.
Asking them if they gotta tinkle. Ask them if they gotta pee.
Oh God.
Anyway,
what's your theory, Q?
2 part. Number 1, symbols just taught behavior. If you're around effeminate men, then you're gonna pick up those behaviors. That's a simple. That's simple part to me. Now, my other theory is, I think that a lot of men who go that route, they look at it as the easy way out. And what I mean by that is
being gay.
No, not being gay, being effeminate.
You think that's more easy than just being like a gay male who's not effeminate?
No, listen, Nikki, get the gay.
No, I'm just clarifying.
No, I'm gonna tell you, get the gay out your head.
Okay.
Get the gay part, the effeminate side of it, the things that make you act and have the mannerisms of a woman. It's an easy way out. Let me tell you something else that you know, but sometimes people don't think of because it's not spoken of a lot. It is hard as hell to be a man and even to be a boy growing up boys are ruthless and brutal. You got some of the reasons why men deal the way that they do is because we have developed thick ass skin from the time we were 12 or 13 up until now. Whatever your issue, whatever your flaw is, boys are going to clown you and they're going to demean you and they're going to push you around and they're going to go as far as you let them go. It's tough being a man. Mm-hmm. Now, if you put yourself in a position to say, hey, I'm not even in competition with the rest of the pack. I'm over here with the girls playing double dutch. I'm over here doing what they doing over here. You ain't got to worry about me. We, in often cases, we didn't look at them as they're not a threat to us. They're not a threat to the girls that we trying to talk to or holler at. We almost look, and this is going to sound real bad, but we almost looked at them like a different species of person. So it's not even like we're in direct competition. We're not going to be confrontational the same way that we would be another man. It's an easy way out for them to where they don't have to get those bumps and bruises the same way that we did coming up, being rough, being confrontational, having quick snapbacks. Somebody say something about you, what you going to say back to them? You going to stand up for yourself? When the effeminate men didn't have to deal in those same type of circles as we did. And in certain instances, of course, being gay is a thing all to itself, and it's hard. But trying to stand up and be a man within a pack of men is a very hard thing to do. So it's easier to say, I'm not even competing in that arena. Let me just stay over here. Y'all ain't got to worry about it.
I agree, because there can only in certain groups collectively, like the guys that I hang with, I'm the youngest out of all of us. But I'm kind of that alpha guy, though. I'm not that I'm the hardest or I'm the toughest or I'm the strongest or whatever. It's just like I can suggest something and they all kind of go along with my suggestion. Or we can have a discussion and somehow or another I just dominate the conversation. I hate that I do it, but, that's what happens. But like Q was saying, I guess to some people it's just easier to not have to deal with being part of that pack, that alpha or that top guy or that, just, I don't know, but it makes sense. Listening to Q when he's saying that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But I never thought about it like that. But yeah,
I like my theory better, but okay. I see where you're coming from.
I just find it, China is a poor example of them. They try to restrict all parts of their citizens' lives.
Right, then there's that.
You know what I mean? So, they have a lot of issues, irregardless of just the effeminate visuals that they see on TV or media. They try to control their media in general. So, I'm not surprised by this. I understand the purpose of when they did the one child rule, but it was extreme. That was extreme to do. And I think if they would have did research and found better ways to curb population growth, whether through education, contraceptives, things like that, maybe they could have did without that whole one child rule. But now you have another, all these rules and restrictions they put on their population ends up coming a secondary problem. And I find it just their culture in general just want to restrict people's lives in any way in capacity they can.
Yeah, when I first saw it come out and it said China, I was like, well, of course. So there was that, but didn't make it okay.
But for them to do it?
Do I think it's wrong for them to do it?
Yes.
I mean, do they really think it's going to work? Is the question. I mean, the wrongness has been done for centuries. They've been controlling their population to a certain degree, period. So, I mean, I can't, we always want to say America's this great culture and I'm proud to live in America for all these reasons. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to live in certain countries.
Right.
But our Western values are often placed as on a pedestal compared to other, cultures. And so I can't say it's wrong. I can't say it's right either, because I don't know what kind of, how their society, what their ideals are for their society. They may
follow-up question. Let me ask you this in America, and this for anybody. Do you feel that there's an agenda, a specific agenda
I was going to mention that
effeminate males in our society?
You asked the question first, right? The first question that you asked was, do I think it's wrong?
Right.
And that's pretty much how I was going to answer that question. Like after Tiara said what makes the most fucking sense, my first thought was, but that depends on if you stand on a fence that there is an agenda with imagery and what is like, if you don't believe there's an agenda happening, then you probably would just be like, oh, fucking China just trying to control their people again, which they're definitely doing. And that is certainly something that China does do.
True.
But if you do subscribe to the theory that you believe that there is becoming or is a gay agenda, then you would have a different way to answer that question. So,
and Nikki, I don't like when you say gay. Like, I think they can coincide, but I think they're separate. Like
true. But when you think of effeminate, you generally think of a feminized male, which is.
I don't think it's exclusive to that, though.
No, it's not exclusive, but that's the word that they use. So I guess maybe I shouldn't use.
Without being like, I'm like, you can be gay, but why do you have to be effeminate? Like that's an actual question I have. Like, that's something that I don't get. Like, where why you have to take on the mannerisms of a woman just because you're gay. That's the part.
Well, but that goes back to how a person identifies. If a person identifies as feminine,
six sexes that you.
Well, but if you identify as a feminine and a feminine person, and you feel, whatever their
learned
assumption,
and accepted behavior.
Well, it could be. I mean, the television that we watch, the movies that we watch. Fair. Yeah.
So China's saying we're trying to unsocialize you to that concept.
No,
China wants manly men. China wants manly men. Maybe China wants manly men because they know they're about to start a goddamn war with the United States of America.
Nikki, that's really the first thing I was thinking. The first thing I heard this, they like, we need the upper hand when it comes down.
We need some man up in this mug who was not afraid of their nails, because we finna fight them. Like,
that was literally the first thing I thought of when I saw.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy to hear you say that because you can't rule nothing out no more, man. But I thought it was a bold move from them, but China does bold shit, to say wrong or right. Well, that depends on how you feel about a situation. I personally feel like the agenda is definitely revealing itself a little more as time goes on. And people who today I know used to, men in particular, bring this to a light 5, 10, 15 years ago. Like today, it's finally, You're seeing things, right? So
yeah, I think it's an agenda.
yeah,
I wouldn't even. I'm kind of a Quinn. I wouldn't even call it a gay agenda, not just
right.
because of it. You don't have to be effeminate to be gay, but I don't think it's all the way a gay agenda. I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. I think some straight men are perpetuating this agenda. Um,
Tell me
how do
how.
you secure control of what you have? You can get rid of the competition. So I think there's some straight men who have an agenda to effeminate men too.
Hmm.
I think some of it's feminism. I think some women are very threatened by strong men, and they're pushing the agenda too. I think it's coming from a lot of different directions, not just one direction.
And I think agenda has been kind of what America has known. I mean, when we talk about, they painted Black people in a certain light. They had an agenda to do that. Or Black women or Black males, or whether it was interracial relationships. Those things I think are just agendas in general. I do believe a lot of it is it's highlighted so much now, because you have a great gay backing. You have money in the gay community that is wanting to be seen. And when you have power and numbers and people, you're going to be seen, much like what we were trying to do as Black people, be seen in a different light, but we still are controlled by others. So I think we failed our own selves. And then we look at these other agendas pushing forward, and we'll be like, well, hold on now. This is agenda, but is it necessarily bad or wrong? Or I mean, if Black people can get their agenda pushed, I think we would want it pushed as well. We want equality, we want housing, we want those things we want to speak on too, but we just don't have that backing like a gay community and the power it has at this moment on this.
That goes back to throughout history. Anytime another marginalized group gets their group together and they're making noise, they've always piggybacked off what Black people have done in this country forever. And now we're seeing it really with the LGBTQ community and so on and so forth. But America is okay with them making noise. America's never been okay with Black people making noise for the same type of equality and justice and all these other things. And I didn't realize this until I was probably 15 years old when I read about the group Moore in Philadelphia, where they blew up the apartment building and all that other stuff. And that's when I got interested and started halfway trying to realize what was really going on. But these people have been fighting and asking for equality and justice and all this. Leave us alone. Let us live our lives. But now the LGBTQ community has kind of piggybacked off of that. And if you fast forward 30 years, here we are today. If you turn on any news station today, yeah, Black people are still making noise. We're still making noise when George Floyd got murdered and everything else. But white people are almost okay. And I say white people, but America and white people are almost just okay. We'll let the gay people do what they're going to do. But Blacks, we're not going to have that. We're not going to have them, marching in the streets, tearing up cities and shit, even though we constantly get killed and murdered and all of these things. So that's not a new, road for America. It's where we are. It's how we've been. This country has been, rather, not we.
And this is why you see in Texas laws about abortion, because the reality for the white population is shrinking, and they are in dire straits to retain some type of control, in which they're losing the battle. If you think of the population of Hispanics growing, and then gay people tend to be more liberal because most Republican or straight Anglo-Saxons, or however you want to call it, they are against a lot of the LGBTQ community. So that also is going to cause less growth in population if you have same sex. So now you see these laws, and this is just the beginning. It's not even going to touch the surface on what they're going to try to rectify with their population shrinking. I do believe that they religiously have values when it comes to abortions. I do believe they have some, but I do also think it's also a dire strait to continue to control the population, and they know they're losing the grip on that.
Yeah, I was watching something.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say I'm not torn. I know exactly how I feel. I'm definitely pro-life, but I do not trust Republicans. Like, so it just makes me like I'm pro-life. I'm for pro-life things, but like when they're doing something, it's just like I just don't trust them at all. So it always sucks.
I was watching something the other day, and they were talking about white women from Iowa should be having at least 3 babies.
Wow.
3 babies.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. 3 to 5 babies
that's the heartland. They're gonna repopulate the heartland.
And so, like T was saying, that
I think that's what's hard about being pro-life is you realize they're not really pro-life. They're not actually pro-life. They're just pro a baby they've never seen. Like I feel like I'm really pro-life. Like I'm pro that baby I ain't seen. I'm pro them babies I do see. I'm pro the people, that need healthcare. And like, if you're pro-life, be pro-life. But to say
but they're not.
You love something that you've never seen, but you don't love what you can see, you're a liar. Like you're lying.
Soon as that baby's feet hit the ground,
you could care less.
They don't give a damn about it. Right?
No, they're not pro-life. They're pro-oppress. They're pro-suppress. They're not even pro-fetus. They don't give a damn. They don't care. They're anti-women is what they are. They're anti-right to choose is what they are. Hold on, I'm adding Q back on here. Well, and I wanted to clarify because when I'm
pro-life, like I'm pro, I'm not really with people getting abortions. You watch my abortion show. I'm super pro-life. Give yourself that title. It needs to be like all the way through.
Well, I agree with Ivory.
Yeah, you definitely have to stand on it if you say that you're pro-life, but this is not a pro-life measure.
Yeah, it's not. It's about control. So
this is all control.
This is what got me when they told me that even if you're a rape victim, you carry the baby to term. Yeah, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
I did a whole live on this the other day because I am through the roof pissed about how wrong this is to do to people. Women don't know that, women don't even know they're pregnant. I mean, hell, if you're a regular woman, you might miss your period within 4 to 6 weeks. Most women who are not regular with their period aren't going to know that they've missed their period until they're pregnant.
Right.
And you're stuck.
And you can't go have an abortion.
Yeah, so this is a ban on abortion. This is a ban on women's bodies, period.
And this is what you see, like the extremes in China culture, you start to see populate with this populism in our culture.
I think we're losing you here.
Oh goodness, again? Jeez. Can y'all hear me? No?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Can now.
I think what the problem is.
Yeah, you're freezing up.
Darn.
No, you can hear you.
That might be
you're
Ivory
good. I think it's Ivory freezing up.
Maybe it's me. Sorry.
No, you're good. I want everybody hear it though. But
no, you're good.
I think where they find the problems with, especially this law, and I may be wrong, you guys are in Texas, is that they try to actually jail and punish and fine people that try to get abortions or help assist. And I think
there is a reward hotline.
Criminal. And
there's a reward hotline. Yep.
I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you could be all pro-choice. I'm all for that, but let's be pro-choice and help some of these veterans. Let's be pro-choice and pro-life and help these veterans that are sick and dying in the streets. Let's be pro-life and help these kids that have been molested in these
foster homes, group homes,
and these group
already
homes,
in the system.
That's
you
more
can't
reason.
be pro-life and turn people away at the border. Like,
right.
You know,
that's more reason to believe that this is not about, it's about control, period. Absolutely. All the things that you just mentioned are all reasons for me to question it anyway. I mean, I tend to think I'm a forward-thinking person, but yes, everything that you just mentioned is what's wrong with this law. And so someone off the street, if they heard that so-and-so is going to get an abortion, they could turn that person in and get $10,000. So they're deputizing these people, regular ass people.
Yes, literally. Those are the
people.
Uber and
those are the words they use. Deputized citizens.
Yes,
deputized citizens.
Uber drivers and Lyft drivers are like, well, we're not going to take anybody because they could be going to get an abortion. Then they become liable to be sued for $10,000, and someone can turn them in and say, yeah, Johnny, the Uber driver, took Susie to get an abortion, and bam, you get $10,000.
Wow.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And this is why I say I can't really judge China for their laws and things, because we have our own quirky, and this abortion is just one battle that we face in counties, municipalities, states that have various laws that make things that everyday things criminal. So them having control over their media and what they produce and what they do, they can do that. They sure can. The people have the right to uprise against it, but they definitely can do it. And my thing is, we have to be careful who we elect into these offices. Same over there. They hold these regimes up, these kings, queens, and all this stuff all over the country. And then you see what happens. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you didn't do your research. I mean,
I'm okay with abortion being illegal. I just don't trust Republicans in power.
Do you think it should be criminal if someone tries?
Yeah, I'm okay with it being illegal. I'm pro-life. I'm not like a straight up pro-life person.
But you
straight
think somebody
up,
should
like I'm okay.
Criminalize for doing it, like jail time.
And I'm sorry if y'all can hear me over my crying child. That's keep going on mute and back again. I'm like a really kind of logical about it, where like I like think it's life, like so. Okay. I think a baby growing in a woman's stomach is life, so I want it to be treated like any other life. Okay. I'm just pretty black and white about it. It's life, and if it's life, if it was out of her and something happened to it, it would be criminalized. So since I think it's life inside you, it should be criminalized. I'm just very black and white logical.
And you're okay also with the people who are enforcing this?
I don't trust Republicans. That's my only gripe. That's what I'm saying. I don't trust them.
That's the problem that I have, is when someone tells someone else what they can and cannot do. At 6 weeks, I mean, like Nikki said earlier. I don't have a
problem with that. We tell each other what to do all the time.
Yeah, I don't have no problem with that, but even with people I have a problem with men being the ones who have the over prevailing say so in this type of topic.
Well, basically, that's what I'm saying, because men, they're the main ones that are doing it. Now, the women that go along with it, and this is historically, again, women that go along with white men making the rules are okay with being second in power. So they're going to go along with these men that are making these rules. And if a man cannot have a baby and cannot carry a baby and cannot become pregnant, have a vasectomy. There's not a rule on the books in this country that dictates what a man can or cannot do with his body. Period.
There won't be. There won't be.
Exactly. So why are we putting these mandates and these books or women's bodies on the books and saying women cannot and can? That's the problem that I have with it. I'm
so it's about something bigger. It's about something way bigger.
It is. Absolutely, it is.
Because if you don't like abortions, don't have one. Simply put, if you don't like abortions, then don't have one. But what I choose to do with my body is my fucking business. At the end of the day, to criminalize, to penalize somebody for something that is a decision that one has to make. We don't walk somebody else's shoes ever to know why they're needing to make the decision that they're needing to make, to remove the option from the table when the option was there before. The options may not have been savory. The options were at least just that, an option, you know, and here we are continuously regulating and legislating women's bodies, but never are we legislating and regulating men's bodies. When we talk about men getting vasectomies, when we talk about what responsibility does a man have if he decides he doesn't want to have a kid, like all these other things that have been talked about over the last couple of days, you know, since they passed this bullshit ass law, it's been men being like, oh, wait a minute. Well, what about all these women with all these babies and da-da-da-da-da-da, like all these things where it's like, obviously we're responsible. We know how to not get pregnant. We know how to get pregnant. Like, we know this. We're adults. As adults, we're supposed to know this, right?
I have an issue with anybody who feels that everything has to be a black and white issue. I think that this is one of those instances that this is not black and white.
Right.
And for people who try to make it black or white one way or another, I'm like, it's not. It's not a black, and that's where the stupidity. I told you I got a lot of shows. I'm about to put together another show where I'm going to basically propose things that we need to add into law and take away from law, things that need to be changed. Starting, this is going to be crazy, and I'm getting a little off topic, but it's going to be, the number one thing we should start is getting rid of the whole ABC. Like, the ABCs don't make sense. The way we spell words, it don't make sense. Well, get rid of the letter K all the way out of there. There's no reason for the letter K. Anything a K can do, a C can do it by itself. Matter of fact, you don't even need a letter Q. What is it that a letter Q can do that a letter C can't? Now, I know everybody's saying, just for people who are educated, they're like, well, these words have etymology from different lands or different languages, and that's where it comes. Mm-hmm. So what? We in America now. Stop trying to, don't tell me knife starts with a K. There's no reason for it to start with a K. And you trying to teach somebody that the word knife starts with a K. The stuff that seems so simple, we're teaching our kids at an early age, it don't have to make sense. Just go along with it. And when you teach that mindset, it flows along in everything else that you do. So now you got a whole bunch of adults who be like, this don't make no sense. It don't have to make sense. Just go along with it. So now we got to just go along with it mindset in everything that we do. What you say? We need to start at the alphabet and get rid of some of these stupid letters, and then start going from there and pull everything else out.
Language is really weird because things are written and spoken differently. But I just want to piggyback on the abortion real quick. I find it odd the people that wants to make the mandates on women's bodies do not like the idea of mandates of mask and vaccinations. That is kind of hilarious.
That don't make no sense.
I'm just like, but when it comes to vaccinations, oh hell no, you can't do this to my body. But it's okay to. That didn't make sense to me. Secondly, we understand that abortions was happening before it was illegal. It was just happening unsafely, and a lot of women of color were, the ones that unfortunately, passed because they were going in back alleyways and doing things out of some midwife basement. And so we wanted to get it federally passed, a law to allow it to be legal and safe for women to have abortions because so many people were dying at the hands of having unsafe abortion. And then finally, I wanted to say about abortions is we have to do a better job educating people. I think we spend so many times on a polar opposite of sides of things and really don't have compassion for other people and circumstances. We do know if they do this criminally, who's going to be impacted the most? It ain't going to be white women that go try. It's going to be Black women. And that's the scary thing about it. Like if the laws was not biased, if the sentencing was fair, then right. I think a lot of people can swallow and stomach a lot of things better. But we know anything that they do, whether it's child support, it affects predominantly Black men, and they're jailed, their license are taken away, and now they become in the system. Same thing with this abortion. It's going to be predominantly, and I hate to say it, but it is going to be predominantly women of color, and they're going to be jailed or have a record, and then that becomes a problem. So we really are. It becomes a secondary problem, like we said about the Asian population, first creating one child issue, and then secondly, now they have an issue with too many men. I think if we create these abortion laws, what's going to happen is a lot of Black women are going to go to jail.
Well, it's going to be enforced totally different. Just because you got to be careful when they say we're going to criminalize something, because all it means is you just gave them the opportunity to enforce criminal penalties, but it's not going to be straight across the board. Every time they criminalize something, we go into jail, they're going to get a fine or a slap on the wrist, or it's going to look the other way. That's why you always got to be careful about when the government or the state talks about they want to criminalize
something. Exactly.
You can criminalize the people who performed it without criminalizing the people who did it.
Well, this goes hand in hand with the voting bill that they passed also in Texas. So
I was just saying it doesn't have to go that it doesn't have to criminalize the people who did it.
Right. But the thing about Black women going to jail over this, and hopefully that they don't, but you're taking, it goes hand in hand with the voting rights bill that they just passed, or they're going to people are just gonna, it's so screwed up in Texas. You can carry a handgun without paperwork. You can't get an abortion. You can't vote. It's so much in Texas. It's going to be absolutely insane here. I mean, it already is, but it's just crazy.
So if you want to,
guys, let me say this. I mean, I get where y'all coming from. I get it's definitely two sides to this. I guess my thing about the conversation about abortion is we got to just remember, like, people feel completely differently about it. I was just looking at a poll, and they were like, well, definitely most of the country wants abortion to be legal, and most of the country does, but it's like 55%, and then 45% want it to be illegal. So when we have a conversation about it, like, everybody just knows this is ridiculous. That's not true. I mean, can y'all still hear me?
Yeah. And I don't think it's ridiculous either. I think everybody has a valid point of view. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think he was frozen?
I think I'm frozen.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I think you're good now. Well, I don't know if she can hear us or she.
Okay. I was just saying, like,
yeah, I don't think
like,
it's ridiculous.
even though it's not the same, it's a little bit more on the side that want it to be legal. I mean, there's still a great number of people who want abortion to be illegal as well.
Yeah, I agree with. I think we have to. That's why I said we got to be able to listen to each other and hear each other. A lot of times we just talk to each other and at each other. And what I'm saying is, if we're going to have laws like this, it's got to be, abortion should be a health issue, right? It needs to be health, and our healthcare system is failed and flawed. So if we don't fix any issues we have, could probably be prevented if we had proper healthcare. A lot of people cannot get proper birth control or don't understand ways to get contraceptives or protection. And so we have a greater problem. And I think what we do is we throw stones at this little thing and think that's going to fix everything. But if we overall look at healthcare in general, a lot of women can't afford to carry a baby to term. Babies are expensive. You have to have, I've known people that did not get prenatal because they couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? And so it's sad because they haven't got proper care. They haven't been to doctor visits, and then all of a sudden they're having a baby on the floor. That's not healthy either. None of that's healthy. And so we need a better healthcare system and a better mental care system that can combat some of these issues before it even gets to the point where we're having kids.
I think that we cannot, in the interim of trying to get that better healthcare system, we can't have laws being passed that again, I choose the word ridiculous because you cannot have someone who is molested or raped by whomever. You cannot expect that person to carry that baby full term and then give it for adoption. You just can't.
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to.
Well,
that's my choice.
Here's the caveat to that is then you're having white men tell you that you have to do that. That's what makes it ridiculous. That's what makes it ridiculous. So however we're all going to see this thing differently, or most of us will see this thing differently. You can't damage the girl who's been raped and tell her that she has to carry this baby to term. That's just the way I look at it. And then have a white man tell you that, yes, you're going to carry this to term and that's the law.
And then let's look at this. Let's look at this realistically, long term. What's going to happen with these children that are born by women that don't want them, that didn't want them, that can't care for them, that aren't going to care for them? These are children who are going to go into the system some form of fashion. The system is no better. Nikki, they get raped. They get raped. They get abused. They get involved in the legal system. So now are they repopulating the legal system with brown children?
But can I ask a question?
As a pro, I'm saying, so you would say it's better that you just don't get to exist. I'm saying, and understand your point of view, but I'm saying there is another point of view. And the point of view is there are a lot of people who had bad childhoods, who whatever, and they're happy they existed.
That's still a person's choice to be able to make. That's a person's choice. That's a person's choice to be able to make.
They shouldn't have existed.
That's for them to decide. That's for that person to decide. That's not for me to decide. That's not my body. That's not my situation. That's not for me to decide. That's for her to decide. That's for her to take to her her deathbed. With the rationale of forcing a woman to do something she doesn't want to do is asinine to me.
Well, that's a different argument. That's not the argument you just made, though.
It's the same argument. No, I didn't. That it should be of choice. People who are pro-life remove choice. People who are pro-choice offer the choice. Whether you like the choice, I don't like the choice. I don't advocate for having abortions. I've never had to have one, thankfully. I'm so grateful I haven't had to.
Choices.
But to have to be able to decide if you do or you don't is different than not being able to even get one should you decide that you want one. And then to be criminalized for such. What are they doing with our womb? What are they doing with these babies they don't want us to get rid of? Where are these kids going to go? These kids are not all going to go to a loving family. They're going to be raped. They're going to be murdered by the system. They're going to be back into the legal system. They're going to be of the underserved class of kids. Like, what are they doing with those kids?
Stop them before they ever get started.
I mean, if I can catch it within the first 6 to 8 weeks, that's a choice that woman gets to make.
But
that's her choice. That's her choice. I don't like it, but it's her choice. I don't like it, but it's her choice. That ain't my choice.
I have with pro-choice. Men don't have a choice in this. So the male that also is, a part of this, that created
it's
this,
his baby.
Is his child. He don't get a choice. So I kind of.
Well, he could. She could give him the baby. I mean, and we've had this conversation. We've seen, posts about women who have said, okay, I'll have this baby for you. That's what you want. I'll sign the baby off to you. I don't want any motherly duties. Don't come for me for child support. I don't want this responsibility. So you can have it. And
but we don't have a choice in abortion, but they don't have a choice to stop an abortion.
And they should. They should. I mean, if they wanted to fight for that right, then they sure as hell should. If men want to be able to have legal rights to a woman's ability to have an abortion, then they should require legal documentation for a man to sign off saying, I give consent for this woman to abort my seed. Like, I'm not against something like that whatsoever. Like, it's just, for me, it's the removal of a human being's option to do something that they feel like they need to decide for themselves with their body. It is not my job to like it. Just like some of y'all's parents probably didn't like tattoos and piercings and other things. Like, they may not like it, and it might not feel good, and all of those things. Hold on, I'm trying to add Ivory to this, but it won't let me add her. But to take away somebody's choice is an oppressive controlling action. I mean, there's just, I don't, when you remove somebody's ability to choose, that is the opposite of no means no. Oh, well, just not for you, because I don't think that, I don't like that you're doing that. I get it. I don't like abortion. But it's a choice, and nobody is in the next person's shoes. And let's not even say the next person. Nobody's in the next woman's shoes, because men aren't carrying children. Women are carrying children.
You know, I was going to say that they can go to another state and get the abortion. They won't get penalized for that.
I've heard that they're making that become illegal too, because that was one of my arguments in my live that I did the other day.
God.
I said in Texas now, if you want to get an abortion, you have to travel to New Mexico or Colorado. Those are the two closest states that offer an abortion closest to Texas. And somebody in my live that I posted said, no, that's gonna be that, like, they're trying to make that become illegal too, that you can't get one out of state either. So it's like, okay, now what the fuck? Like how far are we gonna go with this, right? Like, this isn't just a pro-life situation. Like, this is
you gonna tell people can't travel out of town.
So, like, I don't know.
This is exactly why I was saying it's more about the power.
Yes, there's something else to this.
It is about an abortion.
There's more to this.
Yes.
Well, you
there's
know,
way more to this.
Back in the 40s and 50s, what they used to do is they used to send white women to another state to have the abortion done, and she would come back and they would say she was at school.
Yes. Or they go have the baby. They go have the baby
or whatever,
and they come back like nothing ever happened.
I didn't know that they were thinking about banning the idea of even getting an abortion.
Going out of state to get it done. Yeah. So it just forces the question of why
abortion is a polarizing issue.
It is.
Well, it is, but when you add all the layers of all the other things that are happening, it's like, okay, what else? Or now what?
I think people would be more pro-life if people really were pro-life. Like, not just in the womb, but to the tomb. I think that's the problem.
I agree with that.
I think you would have greater population pro-life if that was the case. I think that the overwhelming population would be okay with pro-life. But the problem is, we just
I don't know, Tier. I mean, because some people are just pro no consequences too. I mean,
Ivory. Let me jump in right there. That's what the question I've been wanting to ask for a second. Now, if this, and you can answer the question, Ivory, if this goes in place, I guess it has, or I don't know. I don't really pay attention that much. How, if at all, do you think people, as far as the choices that they make up front, do you think people will make different choices knowing that this option will not be readily available as it once was?
You fucking better.
Some people will. Some people will. Some people won't, but some people definitely will think, crap, I've been playing around. I need to get on birth control. Like, crap, I need to make sure I'm wrapping it up. Yeah. Some people are definitely going to think more about the consequences of their sexual actions than they were before.
So Plan B is fine, though. The Plan B pill is fine because you can.
Yeah, that nothing happened with that. Yeah, nothing's happened with that. That's still available.
So I mean, there is options for people.
That's it. That's all you got.
But I mean, you always have the option of getting on some birth control and doing some things. And I'm not saying that that's always a complete fail-safe, but I mean, a lot of people,
I think,
just aren't doing it.
Well, access to birth control. That is true.
So,
but I do believe it's financial to a certain degree. Having contraceptives, especially if you don't have health care, to be able to allow for you to have proper birth control and a good pap smear every 3 years.
Well, and so many family planning clinics and like Planned Parenthoods and places like that, they shut down a couple years ago. I
don't like that.
So even access to birth control is now going to be an issue because most of these places that do community birth control also do abortion services. So we're not just like cutting out abortion services. We're cutting out whole woman health care services to generally uninsured, underprivileged, low income women who again, where are these kids gonna go? You know, where are they gonna go?
Like I said, Nikki, I don't agree with where the kids gonna go, but I completely agree on this part. This is why I don't like Republicans. They have been
they don't have a remedy for anything.
Parenthoods for a decade, right? They've been plotting on closing Planned Parenthoods for over a decade, with no solution of how you will get women.
Same thing with Obamacare.
Provided.
You want to get rid of Obamacare, but what is your remedy? What is your alternative for? You don't have anything.
Cool. Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that they are okay with allowing a lot of these Mormon groups and polygamous groups to populate at the rate, they don't care that they are attached to underage girls. They bat an eye at that. So
3 to 5 babies from each of them.
It's like, so what are we real? Are we protecting kids for real?
No.
Again, I think if we really, if we really start saying we're pro-life, it gotta mean more than just one piece of life.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? And I think that's when
like I said, I am pro-life, but I'm for all of it. You know, like I'm not for abortion at all or killing babies. I'm also not for just leaving kids out here to fend for themselves either. Like you can't not care once they get here. Like care about it all.
Right, but if you advocate for legislation that doesn't actually care for kids, then you're not pro-life. You're pro-power. You're pro-control.
You can still be.
No, you can't. That's talking out of both sides of your mouth. That's a hypocrite. No, you can't be pro something and then be anti the next thing.
Look, Nikki, it's as simple as where do you believe life starts?
That's it.
If someone believes that life starts in the womb, then you will look at it differently than someone who doesn't.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole
that goes on after that. That don't mean you advocating for that. But it means that I believe that life started in the womb. Therefore, I don't believe that this life should be taken. The same way as a person who would be offended if you chop the baby's head off the moment that the baby came out of the woman, and the doctor just chopped the baby head. You'd be appalled by that. So the same way you'd be appalled and everyone else would be appalled, people who are pro-life would be appalled the same way because they look at life from a different standpoint as you do. But that don't mean that they agree with everything else that other people try to, legislators and lawmakers try to. That don't mean you have to agree with everything to believe that this is where I believe that life starts.
Right. What I was saying is that you.
That's what you're saying, but everybody's not saying that though.
But if you align
that don't mean you're supporting the rest of that though. Everybody don't have to support that in order to.
If your beliefs still are anti-children as opposed to advocates for children's rights, then you're not pro-life.
You're trying to polarize it, but it's not that polarized. It's not just for or against.
I'm elaborating on Tiara's statement, really, that if you're gonna be about that shit all the way. Be about it all the way. And I'm telling you,
it ain't that.
If you participate in voting for legislation, assuming you vote or believe voting is whatever, but like if you participate in voting for legislation that affects those same children, that's not pro-life.
But do you, Nikki? Let me say this, Nikki. Do you understand that people can be pro-life and still not sign on to the way that they're trying to do things?
What do you mean? Because like I said, I'm just elaborating.
The same way I explained to you where I believe life starts, I can also say I don't like the way that Republicans are doing it or the way that they're going about doing it. I don't agree with that. And I may not sign off on it or co-sign or back them up, but that don't mean I'm not pro-life.
Right. But if in the way in which you vote, if in the way in which you live your life, in the way in which you advocate or don't advocate for children later on down the line by way of the way that laws are passed, by what you vote for, by cutting Medicaid, cutting this, cutting that, not going and getting them kids out them fucking cages, separating families at the border, things like that. Like
if you Republicans aren't really pro-life.
I'm just saying people who advocate for legislation who does not support a pro-life mentality. of take care of these children.
That's those labels, though. That's political labels, Nikki.
But that's what we're talking about. But that's what we're talking about.
See, but people try to say if you're pro-life, then that means you're for this, and this.
I'm not
and
saying
if you're
that.
anti, then you're. No, but that's the way people group it up, and it don't equal out that way, though.
Right. So I was elaborating on Tierra's statement. If you go be about it, then you have to be about it all the way. Not necessarily the same stances that a Republican may or may not take, but the action of being pro-life, the sentiment of supporting pro-life, that we're so pro-life that abortion is absolutely the worst thing you could possibly do. So all babies that are with heartbeat, have to live. Okay, but then once they're born, did you stop caring once they were born? And if you stop caring once they were born, you're not pro-life. However, if you advocate the rest of your life with the care and sanctity and health and positivity and growth for children and all of those things, then yes, you are a pro-life individual through and through.
But some people still
a lot of people are not. A lot of people are
still taking it the other way, though, Nick.
But a lot of people do it because there's an oppression factor to telling a woman what she can and can't do.
Well, but just because certain people are not all the way pro-life, that don't mean
my
that.
Thing is, I know me and put. Oh no, I was just gonna say I know me and a whole bunch of people I know are pro-life all the way through, but we still get a lot of flack for just being pro-life from the beginning. Like people like, no, you shouldn't feel like that. You should feel like it's a woman's right to choose. Like that's ridiculous. And I'm like, no, I'm pro-life. I'm life in the womb, life outside the womb, life when you grown, life when you old, like, and it's a lot of people like me. Now, largest microphones and platforms, Crazy Republic, just microphone when it comes to pro-life, but there are tons of people who are pro-life, and it's not political.
Can I ask this? Is the law have restrictions on if it's the life of the mother versus the child type of situation in there? So if it's the pregnancy becomes a risk to the mother's life, is there those type of language?
I want to say I read that, and that was like the only exclusion, but I could be totally wrong on that too. But I feel like I read saying that was the only exclusion, and even at that point, I think it was like, we gotta like triple check just to make sure type thing,
Yeah, what if it says that too much,
Right.
They need a second and third opinion from 3 other doctors.
The other hypocritical part, from what I see, it's like it's only a baby if you care about it.
No.
See, the same parent who can have a baby or that they can be carrying a baby, if they have a miscarriage, they will mourn for that child in the womb. But if you don't care about the child, or if you don't want the child, then it becomes less important. It's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, or the importance or the value of whether to call it a child or whether it is or not. It's in the eye of the beholder, literally in the eye of the beholder.
It's in the eye of the womb. It's in the eye of the mother. Shit.
But that's what I'm saying. So the mother defines the value of the child versus whether it's actually just a child or not.
And it's hers, and she can do that, and we don't have to like it. We don't have to like it.
That's twisted, Nikki. But that's twisted.
We don't have to like it.
You gotta admit that's twisted, though.
It's not my choice. It's not my choice.
It ain't your choice, but I can say that's twisted just because they don't value that. So are you saying the same thing about a parent who abuses their child every day because they don't put value on that child, then the child is less important somehow?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
But we're saying that's what we're saying in the womb, though.
It's not here. It's not here yet. It's not here yet, and you have an option.
Pro-choice people, that's the only thing I have issue with. Because you pick and choose when you want to place value on something.
And you got to think about it. They don't do abortions until the 9th month and 23rd day. There are very few late-term abortions. Most abortions are done in a period of gestation where I'm not going to say it is or it isn't a viable fetus. I'm not going to say it is or I'm not going to get into the fucking semantics. I'm just saying that there's reasons why they do it at earlier stages. I don't, because I'm a woman and
I'm not going to say whether you have a choice or not, but I can establish value on something even if it ain't coming directly out of me.
But for that woman, if that woman has disassociated emotionally from that actual pregnancy, because most women,
if I see a child out in the middle of the street, it don't have to be my child for me to establish value of a human life.
I'm with you, and I'm going to raise your baby, and I'm going to raise the neighbor's baby. I'm going to raise the stranger's kids.
I can't leave it totally up to you to establish what the value is of that child.
I get it.
Now, I ain't saying that you don't have the choice, but I'm saying the way we try to pick and choose when something is valuable and who gets to choose how much value it is, it's twisted. It's twisted.
And
I think.
And I will
go
say
ahead.
this on top of this. We always say trust the science, trust the science. Now, the science
no, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. not over here.
I do sometimes.
I know this group don't. But there's a lot of liberals that'll tell Republicans trust the science, trust the science. Well, if science tell you that the heartbeat starts at this point, that this is actually a living heartbeat, and this baby can survive outside the womb, then why is it that liberals don't see it that way, but they are so pro science?
Because as we know in our glory of our ages, most people are hypocrites. I shouldn't say most people, a lot of people are hypocrites. A lot of people don't stand on what they say, and a lot of people don't know why they believe what they believe. I mean, really and truly, there's a lot of people who say one thing and they don't mean what they say. They just say shit because it sounds good. They say shit because that's what they were taught. They say shit because that's what they've been fed to believe. You know, I think that when it comes to people actually believing in what they believe in and standing on what they believe in, you see a different. You see something different from those types of people. I think that a lot of people, I think a lot of people are full of shit, to be completely honest. I think a lot of people are selfish versus selfless. And people could say, well, that makes me sound crazy because I support a woman having an abortion. That's because I support her choice of what she needs to do with her body.
I hate the fact that some man is telling a woman what she can and cannot do, period. I
hate that a man or a woman thinks that they can, honestly. But even
saying.
more so for a man. Shit.
Exactly. And that's the part of it that bothers me the most, is that this man is
the part that bothers. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stoke.
No,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No,
that's the part of it that bothers me the most. This man doesn't know her situation, doesn't know what she went through, doesn't know anything about this other than she's looking to have an abortion. And now he is saying, no, you can't. And he's never given birth. He's never been pregnant. He doesn't know what this girl's body's gone through or any of that. But yet he's
probably not about to be a single parent.
Right. He has the ability to tell her that, no, you cannot, and pass law to say, no, you cannot.
Do you guys think it's okay for medically assisted suicide?
I was going to ask that question. Or taking people off of life support, when there's no brain function, but the heart's still fucking beating.
Or killing yourself if you want to.
Well, hold on. Let me. But hold on. This is the thing. Let me say that I support someone being able to kill another person in extreme circumstances. You see what I said? Killing another person in extreme circumstances. My issue with abortion is people don't want to call it what it is. If you want to say I support a mother having the right to kill her child in the womb, just say that. Stop trying to call it other stuff.
But it's the fact that y'all feel so desperate to need to paint it as such. You have to paint it so you have to you paint traumatic words on a traumatic experience.
I don't care how it's painted,
but you paint traumatic words on a traumatic experience. I mean, we all know it's ending the life of something that's in there. We all know that it's ending the life of something from growing.
No,
I don't think anybody's in denial about what's happening.
They try to redefine what is the fetus and the embryo and where the.
I mean, and they can do all that shit if they want to do that. But we know what's happening. It's ending whatever is growing in there. We know that.
So Nikki, where do you believe life starts at?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. When does life start? When the heart starts beating, right?
Well, where do you think life starts at? I
would think that life starts whenever the heart starts beating, because when the heart stops, you die. So
okay, so you are in favor of the mother's right to kill their child in the womb because it's her choice.
Yeah, if that's what makes you feel better, yeah, we can do that.
You know what? That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I want people to call it what it is, though.
It's an abortion. I'm okay with the woman deciding to have an abortion to end whatever life is growing inside of her, whatever stage it may be. I would hope she fucking does it in a far earlier stage than a later stage, but that's not my choice.
I got you. I'm not tripping off of that. I'm just saying people don't want to.
I don't like it.
But to me, it's still something about it. Like I said, my logical brain still doesn't understand. If I'm 4 or 5 months pregnant and you kill me, then they can charge you with double homicide. Why? Because I wanted my baby, but you can kill yours and it's not punishable because you didn't want yours. It just feels illogical to me. It doesn't match with my logical brain that my child's life mattered because I wanted it, and your child's life didn't matter because you didn't want it.
But that's the whole slavery thing, though, Ivory. You know, that's how they were able to keep doing slavery, and people did slavery for so long. Because if you can convince yourself and the rest of the population that they're not actually people the same way that we're people, then it's okay if you mistreat them or if you kill them or beat them or rape them. You can do whatever you want to because they're not actually us.
I know.
It's the same argument.
I don't like it.
Right, but it's the same argument people use. So that's why I said I have an issue with people who don't want to call it what it is, because you're trying to pacify yourself in a way to say, as long as I don't call it a living being, then I can justify what I decide to do next. Call it what it is. Call yourself what you are. I don't care about that. But don't try. You're trying to pacify yourself because you want to make yourself feel better about the choices that you make.
It's dissonance.
That's the part I have an issue with as a free thinker.
It's dissonance. You have to have something.
I don't know. I've never met a woman who's had an abortion who didn't know what they were doing when they were doing it. I mean, we all know that when you go in, you're stopping a life from going on. If you don't call it a human being, it's easier to do it.
It's easier to do it if you don't recognize it as a human life.
It's more. I mean, the same thing can be said for the same. Yeah, I mean, of course, everybody's not in the same situation, right? But like, I mean, the same thing can be said for when people choose to use words like, you know, I mean, I don't think that any woman that goes in and has an abortion is misunderstanding what is happening, which is why it generally is something that they then got to deal with emotionally for the rest of their life, because they know that somewhere in there, whether they believe or don't believe, life was in there. Something was growing, something was happening, and if I didn't get it out, it was going to become a full-grown child in the next couple of months.
In the argument, is it the brain that functions first, or is it the heart that functions first? The brain has to tell the heart to pump blood and all this other stuff, but the heart has to pump the blood. So where does life begin?
It's like the chicken and egg conversation. Yeah.
Well, I'm serious. This is part of the argument. So people want to tell me as soon people want to say as soon as you pull out, life begins. No, if a man pulls out, and that's not when life begins.
Right. That's not it.
So like, you can't tell me.
You still got a couple of days before an egg might be fertilized. Like that's so you can go take a plan B. Is plan B okay? You know, like, so is for pro-lifers, is plan B, is emergency contraceptive something that's, something that is supported for people who are pro-life? Or is it like you said, after he, ejaculates and pulls out, like, is that it? Like, there's nothing else that can happen from this point forward? Or is plan B an acceptable method?
I think the larger conversation needs to be, how much government control should we have in our lives? Should I be able to use crack and not go to jail? Should the crack dealers should be punished because I want to use crack or I want to use this heroin? So how much government control is okay and how much is not? Is it okay that we mandate vaccinations? Is it okay that we mandate this school curriculum? Yep. Is it okay that we mandate these things on people's bodies? Where does the line stop? I think that's where we have to get a better question in, is how much government control do we want over our lives? And it shouldn't be so much in our lives.
And Tiara, this to me, I don't know if you saw my live I did the other day, but this is giving consent. We are giving consent away in so many different areas that it's really fucking scary when you start lining up all the different things we've given consent up for by way of not fighting, by way of maybe not being educated enough to know where to fight at, to allow them to do certain things that, when are they going to stop? What's next? What liberty comes next? What right do they take from us next? Like, it's not just abortion, saving babies. It's not just having a permit to have a gun or not have a gun. It's not just getting a shot because, we think that, you'll be more healthy if you get it than if you don't. Like, I said this the other day in my video. Think about, like, Apple just scanned everybody's fucking phone because they can the other day. And people co-signed on it because, oh, well, they're looking for gross, nasty pedophiles. Okay, and generally, I'm a get them motherfuckers at all cost type of person. But you mean to tell me if I have an Apple phone, you're just gonna go through all that shit because you can, and I cannot say no? I can't say no. If I don't take this jab, I lose my job. I can't say no. If I make a fucking mistake and I get pregnant, I've already got 3 children. I can't take care of another baby right fucking now. I don't want a kid right now. I can't say no? When? Where does it stop? The more shit we give away, the more shit they're gonna fucking take. And if they keep wrapping it up into these issues like abortion and pedophilia and catching them and mandatory vaccines, because everyone's gonna fucking die if you don't get one. Like, if they keep scaring people into these places where we become compliant to give up consent, we are in trouble, and they're gonna not fucking stop.
Is that the price we pay to live in a collective society like this?
We're gonna keep giving it away. I don't know. I think it's the price we pay from living in a lazy society. It's the price we pay from living in a compliant society, an indoctrinated society. I mean, really and truly,
yes.
Really and truly,
indoctrinated society. This, again, all of this shit that we're talking about is nothing new. I mean, it's not new.
Right.
So we can have this conversation until the cows come home. Q, give me some of that pizza, dog. But truly, I mean, I'm hungry. But no, this is all, none of this is new to what's been going on. Our society is what it is because of the history of it, the history of the society. I mean, we can go back to the 40s and look up abortion then, Planned Parenthood then. And we're talking about the same shit, and it's 2021. So
I don't know. Did anybody answer this shit? Do y'all think people should be able to kill themselves, like if they want to?
You know what? I'm one of these people.
People do, but people do kill themselves.
No, but I'm saying, do you think that it should be something that is medical intervention, assistant? Like that people should have to go to mental hospitals and things like that when they're trying to?
I don't think so. And I'm going to say this,
or that people should leave them alone and just let them.
I think that people are in so much pain with some of these diseases and illnesses that they just rather die.
No, I'm not. I'm talking like the assisted ones. I'm talking about you just want. You just want to die, not you in pain, not you finna die anyway. You just want to kill yourself. You're suicidal.
That's nothing for the government to intervene. If you do it, then you do it. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you.
Right.
You're dead.
So criminalization of that.
They can't sue you for killing yourself, So,
but I don't think to try to support it,
and then they get intervention.
Oh.
I don't think the government should have any say so in that.
In mental hospitals and things because they try to attempt suicide. But I was just saying on the line of letting people do what they want with their bodies. Like, should they go to mental hospitals? Should their family be able to get power of attorney and take over their lives because they're suicidal?
No, but this goes back to the healthcare conversation. No. They need to have access to mental health treatment. They need to have access to therapy. I mean, people kill themselves every day in therapy and without therapy, but certainly having access to therapy or affordable therapy, medication if that's required, all of those things. I think that a person's, we get into like medical, medical assisted suicide, when we get into medical assisted suicide, when we get into like pulling the plug on people, who makes those decisions? Those people make those decisions for themselves. And there have been some states that, of course, who've argued state versus so-and-so, you can't take them off of life support, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, it goes back to quality of life. And the same conversation can be had for a woman who just found out she's pregnant. Quality of life. I don't want to be a fucking vegetable for the rest of my life. Pull me, please. Pull me and cremate me.
But what I think Ivory's point is, not even to the medically assisted suicides, but even just people that have attempted suicide, whether they're depressed or whatever, they have to go to, they usually get therapy or some type of form of mental care. Should women that are thinking about abortions, should they have that type of therapy before they make that decision? I know there's a lot of people that force that to be before abortion occurs, they have to get counseling.
Most places will offer it. Most clinics will offer assistance to a woman to support both directions, unless you go to a place that is absolutely supporting of nothing but carrying the child. But most women's clinics will say, now we have to show you the sonogram, so now you have to look at the picture. So now any emotional detachment you did have to be able to pull this motherfucker off, now we're going to force this into your brain by looking at this picture of this baby in here. You know, so from that point forward, they will usually offer, are you considering changing your mind? Do you need to talk to, you know, a pregnancy specialist, you know? So it is offered, but I don't think it should be mandated, because who are we to say what she's gone through emotionally or mentally or spiritually to get to the place where she's made that decision?
But it's usually mandated for suicide attempts. They usually
to go through therapy.
They usually get put on a certain floor in the hospital.
Oh, if they're in a hospital, yeah,
that's mandated.
Well, yeah, because you are, you know, I mean, you're going to have a 24-hour hold. You came in there under duress,
saying,
so there's going to be.
Line at?
I mean, if that person wants to kill themselves, they're going to kill themselves. If a woman wants to have an abortion, she's going to have one.
Whether it's in the right place or not in the right place.
Women are going to die. Girls are going to die. Babies are going to die.
Hold on. Let's dig. Well, we got 4 minutes. We need to close up. But let me ask, does that mean that, are we sure that everybody's still going to make the same decision when that option is not on the table?
No, everybody's not. No. Some people are.
No, some people will go ahead and have the baby. Is that right? Because that option, if that option ain't on the table, then they may go ahead and have the baby.
It's just like weed. I know a bunch of people who are doing gummies and smoking weed and doing stuff because it's legal so many places now, and they never did it before because they just weren't a person who was willing to do something that was illegal, even though they didn't think it was bad. But now that it's legal, they're comfortable doing it. So it's some people who simply will not do something because it's illegal.
I mean, it's a whole lot of interesting folks out there to me, you know.
But like the counseling that T was talking about just a few minutes ago, it goes back to the poor healthcare system to begin with. I mean, counseling is there's some dollars attached to that. Mm-hmm. Abortion, there's some dollars attached to that. Mm-hmm. All of this, and so at the end of the day, by them criminalizing it, deputizing regular ass people out here in the streets that can get $10,000. Mm-hmm. Look, I mean, I got bills to pay, but I can't see myself turning somebody in because they want to go and have an abortion.
Oh, that's a hot mess. No, I would never do something like that.
Well, but that's Texas. That's what they've told you. And you think somebody ain't gonna turn somebody in?
Yeah. You know them thumpers is ready.
You got
ready.
It's not as regular
ass people have become regular ass people have become bounty hunters for somebody that's going to have an abortion.
For my uterus. For my uterus. For my uterus.
But
my shit in my body, my shit, all mine. And you get to go tell on me.
Of emboldening people with some levels of authority and what that can translate.
Man,
because
we saw it,
Texas.
We saw it so clear with we saw it so clear with, and I'm gonna say it, Trump supporters. When Trump said something, they emboldened themselves to think they were the law.
Made it all the way to the White House.
Exactly.
Hello, January 6th. I mean, shit, you know.
All the way to Congress. We made it all the way.
Literally.
Trying to turn folks in.
Yeah, and you know what? And what's so scary about it, because it wasn't.
And everybody got a gun.
It was a thing that they were bombing abortion clinics, and I didn't.
Yes.
And that didn't make sense to me. So you're gonna harm people, but you're pro-life. Okay, that didn't make sense. But you get people to the
right.
Like I said, everything you can find polar extremes on each side, where it just becomes like, you know, you can't hear each other because you guys are just talking at each other. But I believe when you start deputizing people, they will be emboldened. And I believe that you're going to start seeing abortion clinics being bombed again.
Yeah, you will. You will. And I wish somebody would flip out a badge and talking about I'm deputized and I'm going to take you in and I'm getting this $10,000 and all.
No, they have to sue. They can't just take you into the police station. It's not a criminal offense. It's a civil offense.
You're right.
Calm down. It's civil. They got to sue.
Everybody don't know that though.
You're right.
These crazy people in Texas.
In Texas, you can carry a gun and you ain't got to have no paperwork. So like I said just 5 minutes ago about the Trump people. I've seen Trump people literally put their hands on folk because they felt differently. Man, I wish I'm on that wish creed. Man, I'm gonna tell you now. I'm from that wish credo.
Karen's coming up to me. It's go time. Y'all not gonna see it on film.
Goodness.
Like everybody else be filming that stuff. You're not gonna see it on film because I'm gonna be around.
Right. Look, somebody else might got it on film, but it ain't gonna be me.
I'm gonna tell you now, I don't know karate, but I do know crazy.
James Brown, that's what his name is.
I'm telling you.
It's 10:30.
Both sides of the argument is so extreme though, so it's not.
Yeah, it is. All right, Nikki.
And there goes the baby. And there goes the baby.
The beauty of having life is just what we heard.
The beauty is. It is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. There's no doubt about that.
That could be a future problem solver or something we got going on right now.
Little baby free thinker. Get it in while you can. We can get a little baby free thinker onesie. Well, we did not cover, 2 topics?
That's all right.
And I figured that probably was going to be the case. I was like, well, at least we'll have 2 more to go into next week. So, this was a great conversation, as always. Appreciate you guys for pulling up tonight. And, it is a hot topic, and I'm glad we got to have this conversation because, people aren't really sure how they feel, and some are obviously very sure about how they feel. So it was good to have this conversation. I'm going to keep trying to do the StreamYard every Tuesday. Definitely trying to move as much as I can over to YouTube. If y'all haven't been to our YouTube channel yet, please go to our YouTube channel. It's Free Thinkers Worldwide. You'll see our little headpiece as our logo. Me and Q's sweatshirts are the profile page. But
Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, get the notifications, engage in conversation over there. So every Tuesday, I will put the StreamYard link in our pinned post so that y'all have easier access to getting into it. Because these go directly to our YouTube page, so I don't have to do anything fancy. Comments, we can see some of the comments. Some of them come with names, some of them don't come with names. So we'll kind of work the kinks out, as the next couple weeks goes by. But we're going to keep StreamYarding it. Go to the YouTube page, Free Thinkers Worldwide. Check us out, share us. We are desperately looking for topics, so if you guys have things that you want us to talk about, please share them. You don't have to be a part of the conversation, but if you're like, man, I want to hear them argue about this, well, send us the topic so we can talk about it.
Real quick, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'm working with a guy, graduate from Texas Tech, hopefully in the next 3-4 weeks, working on putting a podcast together, nationwide podcast. And so, Nikki, you probably know best what it'll be about, but I'll give you a quick overview. He grew up in a very, very racist family, but he didn't realize how racist his family was until he got to college. And then he was telling me the story about one time his mom went to the gas station and to get some cigarettes and left him in the car. There's a black man standing at the convenience store on a payphone, and he jumped to every door in the car to lock the door because his parents had filled him with all of this, they'll kill you if they see you in the car. So he didn't realize how fucked up his family was until he got to college, and he started looking at meeting black people and getting into some diverse groups. And he's like, black people aren't fucked up. It's my family that's fucked up. So we collectively have come together. I've known him all these years and I never knew all this about him, but collectively working on a podcast, putting it together nationwide, hopefully. But I want each and every one of you to actually come on at some point and, say something.
Yeah. Hey, we'd love to. Yeah. You know what kind of fire we come with, so as long as you're ready to put us on, we'll get on there.
I want that. Free thinkers is awesome because everybody has an opinion, everybody has a mind that they can think for themselves, and we get, even between the 5 of us tonight, we got different opinions from stuff that, it's good stuff. So look forward to that. I'll keep you guys posted on it, but hopefully it'll work out and come together and work.
Right on. Anybody else got any news? Anything to share?
No, I mean nothing. I'm just still building out my store, and I'm hoping once the store gets built, possibly because they have a podcast studio that's going to be there, then I can rejuvenate in a different type of way. So, or even doing a live show in the candle corner or something like that. I'll remix it, but I kind of wanted to wait till this happens so I can make sure I have the right things in place.
That's what's up. It's so cool to see other people's growth and hear about other people's babies being born and passions emerging in the last year and a half during Corona, man. It's just crazy to see so many cool things happen for so many people. I appreciate being able to experience y'all's births of things, man. It's some dope shit to be able to be witness to. So just let us know what we can do to support,
Cool. Thank you guys.
All right, that's it. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.
You guys take care.
Good night.